All right. What is up, guys? How's everyone doing this week? Sorry, I was a little bit late. I was wanted to eat something really quick so I don't starve. Please, as usual, let me know if you guys can hear me. Matthew, welcome to the chat. I got the email saying Wonder Man are waiting for me at home. Oh, nice. I remember the last time you told me they're in at the post office. So now they're at home. That's awesome, dude. Are you at work right now? Are you are you working, but you can still come to the live stream? That's crazy. Matthew says, "I'm first in the chat. Do I win a prize? You get to be the first person to give me a pro or con for Hercules here. Can't hear you. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you letting me know that you guys can hear me because I know the other time it didn't work for whatever reason. So that was pretty annoying. But I'm glad that the sound's working. Yeah. Okay. So for today's live stream, don't so for 100%, we're gonna go back to a live stream that we've been doing, where we go over every single deck list, like the best deck list for every single hero, and we're definitely gonna continue that doing Wave 2 as you guys requested. But for today, I thought it'd be interesting to see everyone's like first initial impressions for Wonder Man and Hercules, and I wanted to share my thoughts on these heroes as well. So we have, oops, let me type on this keyboard. Initial impressions for Wonder Man Hercules, pros and cons list. Because I thought that this would be pretty fun for us to do here. And I didn't want to talk about these new heroes just because they're fresh and they're new and everything. So that's kind of why we're doing this right here. So let me just a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. If you guys have any thoughts, feel free to share. But I'm going to go ahead and list some of my thoughts for these two heroes. Okay, so I should say what my thoughts were going in to both these heroes. Matthew says, after seeing your playthroughs, I'm more excited for Wonder Man. Okay, cool. So the Wonder Man precon, I played that against Red Skull. And it was a very, very tough and close game. The Wonder Man's precon definitely can handle the Red Skull. I definitely misplayed near the end there with that battlefield benevolence. But I think Wonder Man has a fun he looked very simple. I'll say that. I thought he was a very simple hero. Obviously, the overpaying thing I think could be a little bit annoying. Not annoying, but like more complex, I guess, right? Because you have to like overpay for everything. But going into it, I thought he would be a pretty simple hero to play. And after actually playing him, he's way more complex than I thought. And I'm not sure. Like I was very big on Wonder Man before I started playing him. And I really liked the way that his kit looked. He looked very strong and fluid, but I feel it's actually like a big complexity in like because you can only have 3 tuck cards max under the Ionic Physiology. And then the other thing is that oh yeah, you cannot tuck a card if you're at full life. So you must be able to heal in order to trigger that Ionic Physiology. So playing around that, I feel like has been pretty difficult. And it says in the insert of Wonder Man pack that you have to do it like that. Witcher Detective, welcome to chat. Hercules' obligation is pretty weak, so it's easy to remove from the game. Yeah, that's the one where you can either exhaust or spend 2 mentos, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty nice. Yeah, I think that's a pro there. Let's go ahead and add that. But Wonder Man, his obligation is pretty tough, actually. Herc has an easy obligation. Oops, sorry guys, keep talking on the wrong keyboard, so it makes more noise. I bought this keyboard specifically for live streams. I keep forgetting to use it here because it's not like on the mic in the laptop, so it makes less of a noise for you guys. So Herc has an easy obligation with options to spend resources or exhaust. Because for Wonder Man's obligation, actually, why don't we pull up the cards too, huh? Let's go over. How should I? Let me see. Let's open a tab here. So Wonder Man's obligations, or his obligation, I found that one pretty annoying actually. The pacifist one, or not annoying, but like just difficult. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm a little bit more down on Wonder Man actually after playing him. Let me find the cards here so I can reference them for you guys. So let's see here, share. Okay, so we have Hercules here. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. So for Hercules here, his obligation is actually, is it even up? It's I don't think it's yet on Hall of Heroes. We gotta pull up I think we gotta pull up Marvel CDB here. Let's see. Marvel CDB. Um let's see. I think we can go to this and this. And then oh man, I have so many tabs open. I feel like it's not gonna be good for lagging. But let me see. Okay, okay. I think here. Sorry guys, give me one second. Let me catch you here on chat. Enrique says, hello everyone. Welcome Enrique, welcome to the chat. Andrew Nelson says, my reaction was exactly the opposite. I think that Hercules with the Justice deck could be better than Wonder Man. Is this your reaction or is this your after playing them? Because my like before playing them or after playing them? Because going into it, I was more excited for Wonder Man than Hercules. I think now I'm more excited for Hercules than Wonder Man. So I actually flip flopped on that after actually playing the heroes. I yeah, I'm not. I mean, these are still my first thoughts, but yeah, but we'll see. Brant, welcome to the chat. Hercules aggression and protection were ripping up tables all weekend. Yeah, I mean Hercules. I think once he's built out, he's crazy. I think aggression and protection are two great ways to build him out. Enrique says, I always wanted to catch you online. I love the series about deck building. Always wanted to ask you why you stopped. I'm trying to get into deck building now. It helps a lot. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that a lot. Which series are you talking about? We're talking about the one where we get the deck list because we just started that last week, and I'm definitely going to continue it. It's not we're not stopping that today. We just wanted to take a break here because I want to talk about Hercules and Wonder Man really quickly. But I do continue. I do plan on definitely continue that series. Andrew says, would love to see videos of Hercules aggression and protection. Yeah, yeah. You guys, the patrons and members voted for me to play aggression. So I actually just posted my aggression playthrough with Hercules this morning. And I probably plan on playing him protection and probably leadership as well. So definitely want to try him. He's one of those heroes that I really want to try different aspects because I feel like he'll play a lot differently depending on the aspect because it's much less ally work and much more like events and what the aspect provides. So Hercules is super interesting that way. Matthew says, I'm about to start the Mad Titans expansion, Mad Titan Shadow, I think. Which of the two decks do you think will work better? Oh, do you mean which two decks are you talking about? Are you talking about my Wonder Man deck or my Hercules deck? The aggression decks? Um, I don't know. I feel like the Wonder Man deck, just because I do feel like Wonder Man's stronger. Um, I think I'm not sure how the expansion for Mad Titan Shadow works. If you're able to get it built out and set up a little bit quickly with Hercules, like if the campaign advantages, yeah, okay, Matthew says the two aggression decks. Yeah, I feel like the campaign advantages let you set up more easily for Herc than then a Herc deck I think would be pretty fun to try that. But I mean, either way, I think Hercules needs a lot of luck in the beginning because he needs to be able to clear labors without the villain like giving pressure on him. So it might be a little bit difficult. I mean, I think yeah, I know Hercules is just he's similar to Tony Stark Iron Man, but I think he's a little bit weaker than Iron Man because Iron Man has like at least he has good thwarting, you know, on turn one, right? Because he can thwart for two. If you get something like an ally, or like your arc reactor, then you can do more thwarting. But in Hercules, I feel like he has good damage on turn one, but his thwarting's not good. And like we really want that thwarting in the beginning of games. So it is a little bit more of a tough time building out. Henrique is clarifying here. The Marvel Champions deck building tutorial you used to do with each hero is awesome. Deck building tutorial. Um, Dang, what? Let me try to think back. Um, oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about? I remember I did it with like Miles Morales, right? Like where we just build, like I just show how to build a deck, like my process of building a deck of Marvel CDB. Yeah. That that was a fun series to do. Maybe I should get back to it. Like the thing is like Oftentimes, I do like looking at the real cards too, instead of the interface of Marvel CDB, but Marvel CDB makes it a lot easier to like, pick the cards if I just want to like quickly build a deck. And for a video, I think Marvel CDB like looks better, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can find another way to do that, but I'll definitely reconsider going back to that series. Andrew Nelson says, "LOL, just saw your Hercules versus Hellville." Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the quick response. Yeah, yeah. So you can definitely check that video out. For some Hercules aggression, but definitely do want to do some other things. Yeah. Thank you so much to all the patrons and channel members for y'all support and for voting for that. So for the aggression deck, was it a tight poll? No, I think no, it was very tight. Yeah, the aggression protection, it was like very very close, and aggression barely won out. What am I doing here, guys? Oh, let me pull up. Let's see. How do we, man? Like, no one posted obligations yet, so like, I'm just trying to find. Go to card page. I'm just trying to find the obligation here for Wonder Man and Hercules, so we could talk about them. Let me see. I think I have them here on Marvel CDB. Marvel CDB actually uploaded this stuff really quickly. Okay, so let's go through. Okay, so we're here with Hercules. His obligation should be on this page. Here, right here. Oh no, that's this obligation. Whereas that's like his labor, right? Where is his actual obligation? Um, hmm. Right here, appeal to Athena. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, so yeah, yeah, yeah. So appeal to Athena, I agree. It's one of the easier ones. I don't know. I don't know if we could put this in a pro. Like it is easier obligation to deal with because you have two options, right? The alternate action to either exhaust Herc or spend two mentals. I think that's a lot better than just forcing you to exhaust, like easier to deal with. But at the same time, when counting gift cards you control, you are considered to control none. So that means like all of Hercules buffs are gone basically, except for like the actual effects of the gifts, which is like that's the lackluster part. The counting gifts with events is the strong part of Hercules whenever he's put out. So the fact you have to flip down to alter ego to get rid of it, I think it's tough for Hercules than for any other hero, right? Because the thwarting is not too good with Hercules, and he has no threat mitigation in his kit. You have to like use aspect cards to like get it confused or something like that in order to flip down. I mean, a lot of people that do that, but I wouldn't necessarily say. I would feel like that's almost like a neutral thing, in my opinion, guys. Let me actually have a poll here to see if you guys think the obligation is easy to deal with, or you do think this obligation is difficult to deal with. So, start a poll. We'll do is Herc's obligation easy to deal with, and then neutral. Yeah, because I feel like the stronger obligations. I mean, the obligations are easier to deal with. Where's the obligation here? Let me pull it back up for you guys to vote. Appeals Athena. Because I feel like the easier obligations, they give you the option whenever you review the obligation, like right over here, it will say like you may flip to alter ego form. So you can choose to flip or stay up in hero form and just like have that option. But this just stays in your game area. So you have to spend your own turn and your own time to flip down to alter ego, which I feel like makes it the maybe a neutral slash one of the more difficult obligations in the game. So I'm not sure if for our and cons list here, we should put it in pros for Hercules, but I will leave it up to you guys to decide this. So let me hop back to obligation. I really wish we could see the image, the art image for it, but I have it pulled up here for you guys to vote if you guys want to see what it is. Seems like everyone is saying it is easy to deal with though, so maybe I'm in the minority with that. Yes, let me see. Catch up with chat here. Enrique says, maybe with the cards for the deck building series. Yeah. I don't know. It would be nice to understand how you think. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I could definitely see if I can maybe go back to that and figure it out. Maybe I should have done it for the newer heroes too. I'm creating a YouTube channel inspired by you. Awesome, dude. And a few others trying to explain everything. You have a great way to teach. Hey, man, if you have it already, you can like let us know down in the chat, and I can check it out here live with everyone. I can't recommend it yet until I see the videos, see if it's like good, but I could definitely check it out like live too. So if you want to post it, we could take a look at your channel. Witcher Detective says, however, this one can be removed the instant you get it, regardless of defending. It doesn't reduce your progress to zero, regardless of defending. Talking about the obligation for Hercules, right? However, this one can be removed the instant you get it, regardless of the defense. Oh, so are you comparing it to his labor obligation? Because yeah, that was a little bit tougher. The instant you get it, regardless of defending. Oh, you're talking about even if you defend during the villain activation, uh, you're exhausted, right? So that if you get the obligation, you can flip down to alter ego and still spend those two mental resources there to get rid of it. Yeah, that's a perk. I think usually I don't exhaust for villain attacks. I either take it to the face or like I have an ally block. So I think that's kind of my mindset with that. But I definitely see what you're saying. Richard says those that give the option require you to be in a ready state. Yeah, true. To remove from the game. Otherwise, it goes back to the counter deck. Yeah. Another thing though is that most of the time, not every single time, but a lot of the obligations are some of the easier cards to deal with, which I'd rather get to review as encounter card than like another encounter card from the villains encounter deck. So, but it seems like most of you guys voting yes here. 71% of the vote here is yes, it is easy to deal with, and 29% neutral. I'm gonna let the poll run for like a minute or two longer. It's only been 2 minutes here. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the case here. But let's hop over to Wonder Man while we're waiting for that poll. And I think Wonder Man's obligation is pretty rough. So it hasn't actually happened to me like this, but this blocks you off like from like ending game, right? Like if you're like, okay, I'm one turn away from winning the game, you get the obligation now. Wonder Man can't attack. So you probably just can't win because most of this damage is through those attack events, right? So Wonder Man can't attack at all. And then you have to spend your own time to flip down to Artigo. You don't have the option to just do it with the obligation. You have to like manually do it. And when you do it, I mean, you have to exhaust, which, as what you're saying is usually, kind of annoying to do. And then or discard three tech cards on the Ionic Physiology to get rid of it. So then you lose all your attack anyways, which Starstruck is built off of, right? So like, I feel like this can be maybe not necessarily game ending, but it can be game stopping, if that makes sense, and potentially game ending. So I think Wonder Man's obligations, I feel like that's a big con for him, right? Um, obligation is one of the tougher ones. I definitely think Wonder Man has one of the tougher obligations. I mean, you can. Oops, let me share. Yeah, because I feel like it's it's not the most difficult thing in the world to get rid of, right? Just an exhaust, or you have to. Let me hop back over here, or you can discard all tech cards. But like what you're saying with Hercules, you can never remove this one from the game. This one is only going to get discarded, so it can't keep on coming back. Which is, I don't know. I feel like that is one of the difficult ones because it would look like an easy obligation, like Spider-Man Peter Parker. Actually, his is easy because you get the option, but like if you can't exhaust for Spider-Man, his is actually one of the worst ones because the surges. But yeah, let's go back over here on chat. See what you guys are thinking. Here he says, let's do it in another live stream. Today I'm doing it only in Portuguese. I just won with your Nightcrawler. Oh, okay, for your for your channel. Cool. I just won with your Nightcrawler deck. It was awesome to have no allies. Oh, the no allies, no problem deck. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that deck. That was a lot of fun because I think who did we face with that deck? I think we faced Magneto with no allies at all. And that was crazy. I didn't think that was possible on Expert Magneto. And then we faced Expert Ronin too with that deck, but with Expert Ronin, we did put in more allies. So it's like the deck with like a few allies added onto it. Because Ronin, I mean, we need some allies for Ronin. Eureka says, if I do a channel in English, I'll for sure show you. But I'm a little bit scared about my English. If I say something wrong, maybe it can make people don't watch it. Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I don't know how good or bad your English is. I mean, honestly, my speaking skills are not good. People tell me that all the time. So yeah, I feel like I don't know. As long as I was gonna say as long as people can understand you, but I know a lot of times people don't understand me because they literally say in the comments they don't understand me. So I'm not sure. I don't really have any advice on that. I'm not the best person to talk to about understanding how someone talks. But yeah, I definitely wish you the best of luck on your channel, dude. Game guy says, considering how hard it is to get Herc's gifts, I think getting an easy obligation is fair. Yeah, I agree. But so are you saying that his obligation is easy though? Um, Yeah, right now we got okay, it's a little bit different now. We have 60% of the votes on yes, 10% saying no, he does not have easy obligation, and then 30% neutral. I think I'm gonna run it a little bit longer because it's not that okay. It's going a little bit. Game guy says, yeah, I think it's easy. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think more people are saying it's easy than not. So yeah, I'll leave this here in our Let's see, share instead. Yeah, I'll leave this right here because it seems like most people think it's easier. Um, how do I make this a little bit shorter? Uh, easy obligation to deal with. Okay, how do we you guys know how to put bullet points in here? Is it like that? How does that look? That's not that nice. How do we put a bullet point in this in Google Doc, guys? Uh let me see. It's gonna be insert. Um hmm. If you guys know how to do a bullet point, please let me know. Let me Google like a bullet point and try to paste it. Like Google paste it. Copy paste, I mean. Bullet point. Because I want to make the list look pretty nice. It's looking not that nice right now. Bullet point. Why no one has a bullet point for me to copy and paste? Here, oh, here we go. We got it. Okay, so let's see if this works. Like that. Let me see how it looks for you guys. I feel that's better, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll go with the bullet point here. All right. How's that look? Okay. I feel like that's okay. All right. Let me end this poll here. So it seems like you guys are agreeing that Hercules obligation is easy to deal with. I don't know if I would say it's necessarily easy. I still think it's kind of neutral, but I see what you guys are talking about. Okay, so I think that's a pro for Hercules, and a con for Wonder Man's the same thing with the obligation there. Um, okay, so I think let's talk a little bit more about Wonder Man, or we talk about either, but I want to share some of my thoughts here for Wonder Man. So for Wonder Man, obviously I was very hyped for the hero, and I was a little bit less hyped, like I was saying after I played him. And I think he's a lot more restrictive than I thought. So go over here. Um, so with the Ionic Physiology, this is like the big thing, and I don't think I knew this before I actually played him because of the insert. It says here after you play an event with a particular energy resource, you tuck that event from your discard pile under this card and a heal damage from your identity. If you cannot heal a damage, you cannot use the ability. And if you have a max 3 tuck cards here, you cannot over that limit and use the ability to heal. So basically, you have to. So when I'm playing Wonder Man, I'm always trying to keep like 1 to 2 tuck cards under the Ionic Physiology, and I'm trying to keep my life like high, but not at max. So I want to take some damage so I could use this, and because there's different benefits that you want to get from tucking cards. So you want to be like cycling a lot, right? The power cycling stuff. You want to cycle through the cards for Wonder Man and get him flowing with that. But at the same time, you never want to like max out. But you want your max attack, you need a max 3 tuck cards here. For the obligation, if you want to get rid of it with that option to discard 3 tuck cards, and you want 3 tuck cards. But then if you actually want healing, you can't if you have 3 tuck cards. So like there's ways for him to manually get rid of it, right? Like if he attacks, he can discard all of them. With like the force response right here, right? When you make a basic attack, discard each tuck card. He also has his alter ego card, the signature sunglasses, which allows you to add a tuck card here to your hand, so you can like remove one of those tuck cards. And these effects here allow you to tuck a card, like Wonder Fans and sunglasses here. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm always trying to be cognizant of that, and I think that adds a level of complexity. Not necessarily as fun. I think that there is a fun aspect to how he plays with recycling the events, but I think that making sure that I'm not at the cap of 3 cards is not as fun for me and just like needlessly complex. Because I feel like what I would prefer that he have here is like with allies, right? So the ally limit is 3 Marvel champions. If you max out a limit, you can actually play a 4th ally, and you must immediately choose in this card one of the other allies. So you're back to the cap of 3, right? So you can only have, max 3 allies. But for what a Wonder Man works, the max 3 tuck cards for Ionic Physiology is that when they're at 3, you just cannot tuck any more cards. So it like blocks you off. You can no longer tuck with the effects of Wonder Fans or with the signature sunglasses, and you basically can't heal. So your life is very low. You're not able to heal anymore if you have that 3 tuck cards. So that's why I always never want to have that cards, because I want to heal if I feel like I might get in a situation where I want that healing. So let's hop back over here. And I'm gonna say I'll say a pro Wonder Man here, and the pro is I feel like how do I describe this? Like the flow of recycling energy events is fun. That's my personal opinion. I feel like that's fun. Let me move this a little bit. Yeah, so I feel like being able to recycle those energy events is fun. Oh yeah, this can be really small. Let's put that like that. Okay. Matthew says in the format tab, I think it's for a bullet. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me look for that because I'm just copying and pasting that bullet. Oh, now I can just click enter. But let me see. You said in the format tab. Thank you for. Oh yeah, okay, got it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, next time I can just look through it on here. Yeah. I think we just click this bullet point. But now when I click enter, it just goes onto a bullet. So that's nice there. Okay. Yeah. So I do like recycling the energy events. I think that's a fun way to play him, and it's pretty unique. It's fun and unique. So it's like it kind of separates him from other heroes and how he plays with those events cycling over and over again, like through the Ionic Physiology and healing a lot. Let's actually say he's pretty tanky from what I played. He's tanky and can heal a lot. I feel like he's like good at life, like 12 hit points, and can heal a lot. So that's very nice. The con though is the max 3 tuck cards for Ionic Physiology is restrictive. Yeah. And another thing is, I mean, this is kind of like adding on to that, but the how do we say, let's hop back over here so I can kind of explain it. If you can't heal, you can't tuck cards. So on turn 1 with Wonder Man, you can't play events and just tuck them if you don't have any damage on Wonder Man. So like, yeah, like on that first turn, if you play like an active altruism to thwart, it's an energy event, right? You cannot tuck it under the Ionic Physiology because you're at full life. You have to actually somehow lose life first, which is kind of cool because it synergizes with the energy siphon. So I like the design there, right? Because you can spend this and take damage to generate additional resources, which is really, really cool because you heal that back up. But you only have 2 copies of this card in your kit, and if you don't draw it, I mean, then you're not able to tuck a card on turn 1 even though you're playing energy resource events. So a little bit of a thing there, right? I don't know. I don't know if you guys, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you guys think that that's not too bad, or do you guys also have the same thing that I have? Like, okay, that's kind of restrictive. Like, he's not as flexible as I thought. Like Mario Chance, I love playing flexible heroes and having the freedom to like do whatever I want in different situations. And this just kind of like makes me have to plan out like an extra step ahead when I feel like it would just be so nice to just be able to have 4 tuck cards and discard one because you went over that limit. I feel like that'd be so much nicer. NB Random, welcome to the chat, dude. Let's go. I caught Web-Warrior Fanatic live. You caught me live for the first one too. I believe the first live stream. But yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, welcome to the chat, dude. But yeah, right now we're just talking about the pros and cons for Wonder Man Hercules, and just like any initial impressions that you guys have of them. So yeah, we have some here for Wonder Man. I think that's Wonder Man. Yeah, I mean I think we expect that he's tanky and can heal a lot. That's kind of like going in, and then I didn't expect that the max 3 tuck cards for the Ionic Physiology is very restrictive there. For Hercules though, he has a chat agreed or chat determined that he has easy obligation to deal with. So we have that right for Hercules. And I think another pro for Hercules is he is a, I don't know how to describe this. Like he's event based, but he's kind of fun how he plays. Like let's do, he is one of the most unique heroes with his labors, because that's how he builds out, right? He builds out with labors, and then he builds off with ramping his events, which I think is super duper unique. So I think that's definitely a pro for him. Avengers Assemble, welcome to the chat. I think Herc was the standout when my friend played him as being really fun. Yeah. Wonder Man was interesting. And I think my favorite thing about him was active altruism and Mr. Hollywood. Yes, to be able to have scaling threat removal on a card. Yeah, I actually want to put that in there. That's a really good point. The active altruism, like just having scaling events is versatile. Like the versatility of that, I think is really fun. And with Mr. Hollywood down, I'm active altruism. It's a 0 cost event, removes 3 threat like easily already, which is pretty crazy. Like, yeah, definitely found that very useful to like play a 0 cost event and take off free threat from the scheme. That's just really, really good. Mono Luco, welcome to the chat. I'm late. What has been the first impression so far? I'm not sure yet. So it seems like a lot of people think that Hercules is very fun. That's kind of their first impression. And I think going into it, for me personally, I did not have the highest expectations for Hercules. So I kind of went in with a lower expectation, and then I think he exceeded my expectation because he is very fun, and I had fun every game that I played with him. For Wonder Man, I thought he was gonna be like a huge blast, and he's been less fun because I find myself. This is like the biggest thing for me. I might bold this because it's like the worst one for me because I didn't know he had a max of 3 tuck cards for the Ionic Physiology, and that means like on turn 1, if you play an energy resource event, you can't tuck it on the Ionic Physiology. Oh, sorry. And because he cannot tuck a card if he can't heal. So on turn 1, if you're at full life, you can't even tuck events that you play because he's at full life and he cannot heal because of that cost arrow. And you cannot go over the max here. So I'm always trying to keep like around 2 cards, 1 to 2 cards tucked because I don't want everyone to hit 3 because I want to have the option to tuck more cards, like a specific card that I want. So I found that kind of restricted to play with. How do I? Where's that thing where I can format this? I swore there was this thing. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I want to make that center just look a little bit nicer. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So this is kind of the big one for me personally. Um. Avengers Semble says, I play both these heroes in a 2-player context, and I think 2 players probably really good for Hercules. Yeah. I think I've not played these heroes in multiplayer yet. But yeah, I think that Hercules, if he could just get a little bit of breathing room and be able to flip down, I think that he could really pop off. Because when I played Hela gives you a lot of early breathing room because her threat threshold is so high on her main scheme. So having that big time early, I think I took the first time just staying down alter ego. That was huge. Yeah, that was huge for Hercules. I mean, yeah, just being able to get some breathing room to do that was really, really big for him. And then he's popped up out of that. Saber says, you're teaching me a lot about Wonder Man. I didn't know that's how his permanent upgrade works. That brings him down a bit far as fun for me as well. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's right. Like, I didn't really see much people talking about this, but I feel like it's like a huge thing. Like, he's really fun except for like this thing. And it's like this thing kind of like really brings him down. So let me actually do a poll here because I did not see a lot of people talk about this, but I'll say feelings on Ionic Physiology, restrictions. So it is the cannot tuck if at full HP and cannot tuck if you are at cannot tuck. Cannot tuck at HP, yeah. Or if capped at 3. I think that's the best way to do this poll. Okay, so I'll do I don't mind it. And it's very it's restrictive. And I'll do option for I like it. Okay, let's see what you guys think about this poll here. Sorry guys, it's gonna be a little bit long time to figure out how to word this poll. Okay, where we chat. My son and I, welcome to chat. Where on Wonder Man's insert does it say you can't pay for the cost of Ionic Physiology if you can't heal? I'm seeing where it talks about not being able to tuck, you're not 3, but not the other part. So that part's on the insert. The part that you talked about is on the insert. The not being able to tuck at 3. The other part for the healing is the cost arrow in the rules reference guide. So let me actually pull it up. So they changed it to where for the cost. Well, I don't know that they changed it necessarily from the last one, but they ruled how the cost arrows work. Basically, if you cannot do the so it's going to be with superhuman strength for She-Hulk, superhuman strength. So it's just currently how it is ruled, but they may specifically change the ruling for Wonder Man by himself. But let me pull it up here. Superhuman strength ruling, because I think it's pretty similar here. I want to find the Hall of Heroes ruling here. Okay, fine, super. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I'm looking for a superhuman strength here. Okay, let me pull up the rules reference guide. I'm not able to find it right now. So it's going to be with how cost arrows work. Like afterward, you must be able to change the game state, and you must be able to at least do some part of it after the cost arrow. So before the cost arrow, the whole thing must be able to be done, right? So for the tuck cards, you must be able to tuck a card for Wonder Man under the Ionic Physiology, right? And then after the cost arrow, you have to be able to do at least some part of the effect because it has to be able to change that board state. And if you can't do any part of it, then you're not supposed to be able to do what's before the cost arrow either, is the way that I understand it. Okay, look here. Okay, so we're looking for cost arrow. Okay. Pay cost resolve effect. Let me see. Is this no, that's not a cost arrow. We gotta find the cost arrow one more. Okay, here we go. A cost arrow icon ability distinguishes a cost from an effect. In a pay cost, okay. Non-bolded text before the cost arrow must be paid and or resolved in full before the text after the cost arrow can be resolved. Responses to the text preceding the cost arrow icon resolved before. Okay, never mind. That's not the part I'm looking for. I'm not sure if it's in a ruling or if it's in the rules reference guide though. Let me see if I can find. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Please help me refer to. Yeah, okay, it's not in here, guys. I don't know where it's. I think it was from a ruling. I don't know which. I mean, it's for sure the superhuman strength one. So here we'll take a look at superhuman strength, and I can't find the ruling on it, but we take a look at the card. How do I find superhuman strength here? Let's do. This. Okay, so so the way that this card here was ruled is that after She-Hulk attacks, you discard superhuman strength. So this happens before the cost arrow, and after the cost arrow is you stun the attacked enemy. So the way that they ruled this card and that they like officially changed the rulings for how cost arrows work is that if you can do no part of this effect right here, then you cannot do the part before the cost arrow right here. So if you're facing an enemy that's already stunned, well, you cannot stun that attacked enemy. So you don't have to discard superhuman strength, where you cannot discard superhuman strength because at least one part of the cost arrow, the later part of the cost arrow, must be able to be fulfilled. So since the board game state does not change because this is the exact same right here, then you cannot discard the superhuman strength. I believe that's how the ruling works, guys. If you guys can point me to the Hall of Heroes ruling, then let me know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it's currently ruled in Marvel Champions. Avengers 7 says, yeah, I started out on Wonder Man in 2-player against the 4 Horsemen and kept getting my text box blank, so I couldn't reset my physiology with cards. Oh, that's really interesting. I was just thinking, man, I was thinking just now, if it's blank, this is great because now you don't have to do this to discard as a forced response. But he also blanks out power recycling, right? So you don't get +1 attack. Yeah, that I feel like that's super rough. Yeah, that's really rough. And honestly, that's rough for Hercules too, no? Like, let's take a look at Hercules again. If you blank out his hero ability, he can't get a gift if you clear your labor, right? And then he also can't summon a new gift with his alter ego ability. Dude, the 4 horsemen wreck Hercules and Wonder Man. I feel like this is a really tough scenario for them. That's really interesting. Yeah, I don't. What? Just curious. What made you pick that scenario for you to play? I would have been like, I don't want to play that one with these heroes, guys. Game guy says, I share this game with my brother. His Wonder Man, and I have hurt. Oh, super fun. I didn't think of this limitation either. Yeah. Andrew Note says, my son, I agree with you. I ignore the restriction. You can tuck the card no matter what. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair way to play. Yeah, I play by official rules just because I post my playthroughs and I want to make sure that I have like the official stuff. But I definitely yeah, I think maybe I mean, yeah, you guys can definitely play a different way after yeah, because I think that that's definitely I don't know. It's just a really big thing on Wonder Man that I'm just not a fan of. And I really wish that hopefully what I'm thinking is that they may actually change that. Because it doesn't really apply to any other card or hero, right? So they can really just make the ruling and change it and say, hey, like we changed the ruling for Wonder Man in like a Hall of Heroes thing, where now you can have 4 tuck cards and discard another one if you break the cap, and if you have full life, you can still like you can still tuck a card at full life, right? Like I feel like yeah, like I think that the way the rules are currently worded, you can't, but I think I wouldn't be shocked if they did in the future just because a lot of people are complaining, if people are complaining. Sekak, Nap, welcome to the chat. I don't think you need to heal the tuck. The heal is after the arrow. Yeah, I don't know if you commented that after before I talked about superhuman strength, but that was a thing that they kind of changed for this card. How the cost arrow works is that at least one portion of the cost arrow after must be able to be resolved. So, like, if none of this can be resolved, like some detached enemy, then the part before the cost arrow also can't resolve either, which means shield cannot trigger the force response and discard superhuman strength. So I think it's just for how the rulings work currently. My son says, I thought that ruling was just for force response and interrupts. If a force ability requires one or more targets to resolve and has no valid targets, it does not initiate. So I see what you're saying, but I mean I could be wrong with this. But for a card like this, let's say it was a response and you can choose to discard superhuman strength. Are you saying that I could now choose to discard it in order to trigger the stun attack enemy? Because the way that I see it is that force response are always stronger than like regular responses. And basically, force responses will always try to proc when possible, versus responses don't always try to proc. So if something restricts a force response, I would believe that it would also restricts a regular response as well. But I'm not 100% sure on that. With the healing thing for Wonder Man. Stellar Yuji, welcome to the chat. I really hate Hercules Precon. Didn't try to build up depth yet. As for Wonder Man, I'm getting it Friday. Hercules Precon. I mean, I played it once against Claw. For my playthrough, I didn't mind it. I actually had fun. I don't know. I thought I don't think I disliked it at all. Actually, I've seen people saying that they did not like the precon for Hercules. I thought it was actually pretty fun. I like that they did the reprints for limited stamina, and I like how teamwork works with him too. So that's just kind of fun to be able to use the allies to do stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I did not mind the precon as much. Game guy says I found the ruling on uh what's BG stand for again? Board Game Geek. Sorry guys, I forgot. Just blanked out. Thread title Wonder Man timing question. Okay, thank you. Let me look for that. So let's do Board Game Geek Wonder Man timing. See if we can find that. Okay, so maybe it's here 2 days ago. You said third post down. Thank you so much for giving us something to point to. Okay. Regarding one, is this a question here that someone asked? So let me. Okay, so after playing Precon, okay, this is the first question. Ionic Physiology is Simon's starting upgrade and reads, after playing the event, can you use the response when you're at full health? Okay, yeah, so this is exactly what we're talking about. Obviously, we don't know if the people here are like, they're not like Fantasy Flight Games, reps or anything like that, right? But it's just what they're saying here. Regarding one, you play an event, Ionic Physiology response triggers, and you can tuck the event under Ionic Physiology. The arrow shows a possible result of that and not a required target, and it has no effect if you're at full health. But yes, you can definitely tuck the event card. Okay. The arrow implies that if Ionic is full, oh, never mind. If Ionic is full, you cannot tuck a card, and therefore you will get no healing, which is a possible effect. This is just so confusing. Okay, let's look at this one. From the rules reference guide under cost. An ability's cost cannot be paid if that ability's effect requires one or more. Okay, this may be the one you're talking about. Did I not count third one down? Okay, maybe you mean 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Okay, I think this is a. Peter's right that you can't pay the cost either if you have 3 tech cards. This is mentioned in 1.7. Yeah, this is kind of confusing here, but yeah. So this is the rules reference guide quote here. An ability's cost cannot be paid if that ability's effect requires one or more targets and there is not at least one valid target. So for Wonder Man to heal, there's not a valid target for him to heal, right? So I think that's why, like, that's how the cost arrow works, I think. I'm not sure that's what Game Guy is referencing. NB says, have you thought to play two-handed with the Hercules and Wonder Man precons? I have not, NB. Should I do a member and Patreon poll for that? I don't know if I want to though. I play a Hercules and Thor team up. That's gonna be super exciting because their team up card is so good, and it's really good for Hercules specifically. And I mean, I love the theme between them and everything too. So yeah, you guys are voting right now, I think, on that poll. I think it's either gonna be Thanos or Ronan. I low key kind of want Ronan to win, but I think Thanos is gonna win. I think Thanos is winning by like more than 2 or 3 votes right now. So I think it'll probably end up being Thanos. But I think that Hercules and Thor team up could take out Ronan in multiplayer, like Expert Ronan, because multiplayer just gives so much more breathing room, and Hercules and Thor are both heroes that work a lot better in multiplayer. So I am, but yeah, man, that's one to face. But you guys are going for Thanos, so probably end up doing Thanos there. So, but yeah, for the precons, I don't think I'll play the precons. I just find them a little bit more restrictive. Definitely you know, it might be fun to do double. You know, that's a good idea. I feel like I should do a two-handed play. If I play both precons, we could take a difficult villain and expert mode and probably win. Just because multiplayer like gives you more breathing room, and Hercules can really pop off. So like, Precon, Hercules, and Wonder Man. Like, which villain would we face, guys? If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the chat right now. But yeah, I want to face a difficult villain with them. I don't think they can do Ronan with the precons. I think that's a little bit too much. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Magneto, Hercules, and Wonder Man, two-handed Magneto with just the precon decks. That might be a fun game. Magneto's kind of a slog though, especially multiplayer. I don't know if I want to face such a sloggy villain. Like, I kind of want a quicker game. But that might be fun. I want to face like a more difficult. Maybe Loki. He's a slog. Don't talk about slogs. Maybe Enchantress because she's not a slog. I don't know. Maybe Enchantress. Okay. So Yuji says Herc feels slow with the precon. Yeah. I mean, I think he's a slow hero. Yeah. Okay. For sure. Yeah. I think I cleared off the first labor on turn 1 with this precon actually. But I probably got lucky too to like have the limited stamps and stuff like that. But definitely the aspect cards give him speed. So yeah, I agree that the precon, if you don't draw limited stamina, he's probably not clearing anything. He's not going to clear those labors. Andrew Dunn says, I might be a little bit distracted. I just got the Hercules and Wonder Man decks. Nice, dude. I'm glad you got that's awesome, dude. Yeah, you can look at all the cards real time right now. We're talking about it or build some decks. The poll here says 16 votes here. You guys said it's restrictive. Yeah, 56% voted that the Ionic Physiology is restricted there. And we're still not sure about the ruling 100% here. But yeah, it seems like you guys agree with me. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty tough thing for for Wonder Man. Avenger Sembo says it was just a random choice because we both really like the 4 Horsemen. I see. It just ended up being, yeah, because I asked you why you guys pick like the worst scenario for Wonder Man Hercules. Okay, so it's just kind of random. Yeah, I think it's very inconvenient to have it blanked out. We tried the precons first, which were okay, and I was actually impressed with the X cost threat removal card. Oh, the everywhere all at once. Me too, guys. That was crazy, especially because 4 Horsemen have like a bunch of schemes per player, right? Because they have those 2 schemes, like 1 for each player. So you have 3 schemes on turn 1. Dude, that was probably my highlight of my Wonder Man game. Like the everywhere all at once. I think because I was playing Red Skull. So like, you guys know he has a bunch of side schemes. I think we did I think we had like 4 side schemes or something like that. So including main scheme, that's 5 schemes. And luckily there was no crisis. Like the crisis one was not in play. So the everywhere all at once removed 15 threat in true solo, like in one go. I think it was either 12 or 15. That was insane, guys. That was definitely how that game, but that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so I agree. That card, especially in multiplayer with more schemes, definitely going to be a lot of fun. Aaron Stark Curse, welcome to chat. I wish Hercules could pick up his labors and gifts. Pick up his labor. No, could pick. Yeah, I agree. I believe we talked about this too. Yeah, I don't think it would break him, and it will allow you to another strategy to decide how to prepare for labors and which gift to go with his build. I absolutely agree. I think that he definitely would not be broken with that, like not even close, and it'll make him so much more fun. I think that it's nice to have like a little bit of an element of surprise, but being able to pick means that you can pick your deck build, right? You go with the Justice deck for Hercules and you start with the side scheme, get powered up, then the other ones are easier to clear. Or you go like protection, you always get protect humanity, right? You get an ally out on turn one, or you go aggression, get the minion one, right? So like being able to get that first gift and choose would have been huge for Hercules. I understand the way that they did it, but I would definitely prefer to be able to pick that as well. My Senai says, don't you just resolve as much ability as you can? So Wonder Man's still a target. You just can heal him 1 or you heal him for 0 instead. So you do resolve as much of the ability as you can, like after the cost arrow, but that's usually whenever there are multiple things. So like before the cost arrow, every single thing must be able to be fulfilled. From my understanding, I could be wrong, from my understanding, after the cost arrow, at least one part must have a valid target. So it says like, heal damage from Hercules and do 1 damage to a minion, or for example, right? If you could deal a damage to a minion, then you can still do it even though you can't get the healing. But from my understanding, if there's only saying that you have to be able to heal, then you cannot get that healing. So you cannot do the before the cost arrow. Casey Porter says, it's kind of like the new Justice card where you give the villain 2 health to confuse the villain. You can't do it unless you heal the villain. That one's a little bit different because that one's like what doesn't kill me. So it's like before the cost arrow is where you give 2 damage for the battlefield benevolence card. So it's a little bit different. But I think where you can make the case where it's similar, Casey Porter, is that let me pull up battlefield benevolence in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about here. So he's talking about battlefield benevolence right here. I think what Casey Porter could say for this card is that if every enemy in play is already confused or they have stalwart, even if they have not full damage, you cannot play battlefield benevolence because you can play this card, you can heal 2 damage to an enemy, which is possible, but then you have to confuse the enemy. So if you cannot confuse the enemy, you cannot play the battlefield benevolence card. So I think that would be the comparison between 2 cards. So I think that makes sense there. And it's like kind of congruent. My Senai says it's a reverse since that's the cost and not the effect. Yeah. So like this part is kind of reversed, but the confused part I think is the same. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Sorry. Which just says Thanos. I'm talking about for when I was talking about Thanos. Yeah, I'm planning on. Oh, you mean I should play their precons? That's a good idea. Yeah, I think I might do that. Well, I can't do that if the patrons and the channel members vote for me to face Thanos with Thor and Hercules. Okay, I'll ask them again. I'll like do another poll to see if you guys want to change that up because I don't want to do Thor and Hercules against Thanos and then do Hercules and Wonder Man also against Thanos. But I think the channel members should be down for that. For us to switch up the poll, and I'll do Wonder Man and Hercules precon against Thanos, and then I can play Thor and Hercules against Ronin. But I'll see if the channel members are okay with that because, yeah, I mean, I want to honor whatever they vote for, and I already asked them that. So, Andrew said, "Ever all at once S tier card." Oh, I don't know if it's S tier. I think it's S tier potential, S tier peak, S tier fun. I still didn't actually include the card in my Wonder Man deck because I feel like that you need certain things for it to hit, for it to be like powerful. And I think it takes a little bit, like it's still going to be kind of expensive. So that's kind of like the thing with that. Dead Expo says, "Hello, welcome to the chat, dude. I have the heroes, but I haven't played them yet. Your Wonder Man video made him look a lot more fun than I originally thought." Really? That's interesting. My Wonder Man video, maybe I just had super high expectations for Wonder Man. That video that I played, that playthrough, I was more down on him after that video than I was before that video. Yeah. I thought that he could easily handle Expert Red Skull, even with the precon deck. And I think that it's a very tough game. I think that he can still do it. Don't get me wrong. I think that he can beat I think Wonder Man's precon can beat Expert Red Skull. Obviously, I did not win, but I think that it's possible to do. I thought he could easily handled it, but he did not. And I feel I got lucky. I don't know if I got lucky in that game. I know I got lucky on the Hercules game. I don't remember if I got lucky on the Wonder Man game, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Avengers Assemble says definitely S tier fun when we're another. When we're another. Which one are you talking about? S tier fun when we're another. Are you talking about the heroes? NB says, wait, where am I? Where are we at? I feel like Wonder Man with precon would help out with the threat and give Hercules with precon time building. Yeah, I agree. If you did two-handed precon, what do you think of the new Hawkeye? So good. Yes, yeah, the new Hawkeye ally. I love that. Yeah, that card was a lot of fun in that Wonder Man game. Yeah, the Hawkeye ally. Let's go pull him. Oh yeah, he's right here. This guy's super fun. I like that he can trigger this multiple times per turn if you have a bunch of allies. So in multiplayer, all the allies are attacking. He's just popping off. He can do 8 damage to a minion, just kill a minion by himself. Like each time someone thwarts, he just like shooting arrows to the minion. That's super fun. Yeah, definitely a very fun cards in the precon. Let's see here. Hadash Century, welcome to the chat. Make Cosmo interact with the gift and labor. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Cosmo should have his original text. It's so fun. Yeah, I think they eroded Cosmo to say it must be the player deck and the encounter deck now. But if it could be any deck, that's definitely fun. MB says, good to switch up the pool with this channel member. This poll. I'm not sure what you mean. Good to switch up the poll. This channel member. You mean with votes? Which poll you talking about? Oh, do you mean to ask the channel members if they're down for me to do the precon decks for the 2 new heroes against Thanos instead? Yeah. I hope that you guys are down for that, but we'll see. My son I says, does that mean you can't resolve cards like First Aid or Med Team unless a character has at least 2 damage marked on them? First damage or Med Team, yeah. Because if you can heal for 1 or 2, I think you can heal 0 for 1. I think it's a little bit different. I think that those work. Let me pull them up. I think that those do work though. Let's see. We're looking for First Aid because I don't think because we're talking about if it's after cost arrow and if there is no cost arrow, then it's fine. So let me share. For First Aid, it says heal 2 damage from any character. So there's no cost arrow at all. So you can do some part of that. I believe you can play the card, right? So you can just heal 1 damage because there is no cost arrow at all. So, and it changes the game state because you're not healing 2, you're healing 1, right? And then for Med Team, I believe there is a cost arrow on Med Team, but it's after. And if you can do some part of it, then you can do it. Right? Yeah. So, I'm not sharing it. Let me share. So for a Med Team here, so let me go back a little bit on this. So for Med Team here, exhaust Med Team, remove a counter before the cost arrow, so we can do that. Then afterwards, heal 2 damage from front of the character. So the way that I'm reading this is if you can heal 1 damage from front of the character, you can do it because you're doing some part of the cost arrow after. But if you have to heal 0 damage from front of the character, then you cannot do it because 0 damage does not change the board state, and you're basically not healing, if that makes sense, right? Like I understand that it scales 0, 1, and 2, but 1 and 2 are changing the board state if you heal 1 or 2, and if you heal 0, then you don't change the board state. Because if you can heal 1 or 2, I think you heal 0 or yeah, I don't think you can heal 0. That's just my personal interpretation of it. Avengers Assemble says, ooh, Thor and Hercules against Ronan feels super hard for some reason. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a challenge, but because I think did I do Thor and Hawkeye? Because I did a Mythbusters video. Just showing that in multiplayer, it's easier and not as difficult in true solo because a lot of people think that multiplayer is more difficult and some people think true solo is difficult. And don't get me wrong, there's villains that are more difficult in multiplayer, right? Like Venom Goblin is more difficult in multiplayer than he is in true solo. But most villains, I think, don't stare that way. So like Ronan becomes easier in multiplayer, and he becomes so easy that Thor and Hawkeye, I believe I did Thor and Hawkeye in a 2-handed game against Expert Ronan, and I was able to win that game. It wasn't like, I don't think it was super difficult either, because even with overkill, you can just flip down and heal. So yeah, it just gives so much more breathing room whenever you're doing a 2 players. So I think that Thor and Hercules should be even easier because I don't know, I could be wrong. I think Hercules is stronger than Hawkeye, right? That might be, I don't know, yeah. But Hercules in multiplayer scales way better than Hawkeye because Hercules in multiplayer can get built out on his labors much easier. And once he's built out, I can think that's a lot of fun to pop off against Ronin. Batman says, Batman SMK, welcome to the chat. It's thematically and mechanically relevant. You need to take 3 damage and play 3 events a turn to be at full potential. There are a few playlines like this. I won consistently with Hercules aggression against Ronin. Really super strong expert. I haven't tried that. I don't think I could. I did not think. I'll say this. I did not think Hercules could beat Ronin on expert mode, in true solo. So that's really interesting. So that's what I was gonna try it with a 2-handed game, with Thor. But yeah, that's really powerful. Avengers Sembo says, for my comment about S tier fun, one way or another, I meant the X. Okay. You meant yeah. I agree with you that the everywhere all at once is S tier fun. Yeah, for sure. NB says yes. Okay, for the Thanos poll. Yeah, hopefully you guys are down for that. I'm not sure if you guys are for the chat members, but if we could do that, that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, let's see here. Sarah usually says Ebony Maw, for example, gets strong in multiplayer. In solo, he's a joke. Ooh, I don't know if I don't know if that's interesting. I don't know if I have enough experience with Ebony Maw to say that. I played him in multiplayer before, and I know that we had a really tough time, and no one had fun that day. But I think my friends were playing as like Rocket and like some other heroes are like a little bit under curve. But yeah, we did not have a good time. So you're probably right on that. Avengers Symbol says, "Oh, it sounds like heroic mode needs to be added to those scenarios to make them more difficult." I don't know about that. I don't know who said anything related to that, dude. Jay Bennett, welcome to the chat. Why is Maul stronger in multiplayer? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know. Maybe so usually can tell us more about his thoughts there. But I definitely feel like in the limited experience I had, he was more difficult multiplayer. But I'm not sure why for that scenario. Avengers Symbol says justice for the pool aspect and heroic. Justice for pool aspect and heroic. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sarah Yuji, in multiplayer for Ebony Maw, chucks spells at you like a Gatling gun, so you can weave in and out. Okay, so yeah, there'll be more spells out on the table. Oh yeah, I remember that we had a lot of spells. Like there's just more spells because there's more than coming out, and then all surge too. But yeah, okay. Let's hop back over to our pros and cons list here, guys. Okay, what are we thinking? Like, you guys have any more pros and cons for Hercules here? Okay, we gotta put some cons for Hercules. This doesn't make any sense, right? Let's get a bullet point here. Actually, let's do what Matt taught me. Format, both numbering. Oh, what the? I thought it was on the list options. Why isn't it worked earlier? All right, we're just gonna copy and paste the bullet point again. Okay, so let's see here. So pros and cons is, I mean, the con is simple for Hercules, right? It's just very difficult to build out. I think Iron Stark said it earlier too. Cannot pick your labors. I think being able to pick your labors would be a huge, like, for fun and for strength for him. I think, and it's like not broken, right? Like what Curtis was saying. This is probably the biggest one for Hercules. Let me bold that. If you guys have a different opinion, just let me know, and we can kind of build something else. But I'll say this for yeah. And then he's also very. Oops, I don't want to build this. Very weak with 0 gifts. Like 0 gifts is tough, and like that's like the early game as well. So I don't know. Let's see. Avengers Symbol says justice for pool and heroic just because people don't like both. Yeah. Oh, you want me to play pool? I don't know. I'll play pool for that. Yeah, because I think I want to play. Yeah, Thor and Hercules. I think I want to keep them in aspects I have planned for them. So I think Hercules aggression, and then Thor. Oh, I don't know actually. Should I do double aggression? That could be fun. Probably not though, because I want to use the same aggression cards. I think. Let's see. J Venom says four hand size. Yeah, we can definitely add that. Batman SK says you can't play as usual. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Let's see, 4-card hand size in hero form. Can't play as usual. What can you elaborate a little bit more on that? I don't know if I want to put that because like I think being unique is pretty cool. That Expo says weak hand size. Yeah, yeah. So we add the 4 hand size already. Iron Strike says Wonder Man versus Iron Man is kind of annoying. You have to make Wonder Man versus Iron Man. Oh, versus the Iron Man scenario. I thought you meant comparing 2 heroes. It's kind of annoying. You have to make basic attacks. Oh, shoot. That's a good point. Okay, hold up. It's not just for Iron Man. That's a really good point. I didn't think of that. Every villain attachment that requires basic attacks to remove, discard all tuck cards. Yeah, because that's a really good point. I mean, I think Iron Man, I think you make a good point on that. I'm gonna do Magneto's helmet just because I know the name of it here. But so many villains have this. Like, I think almost every villain has something like this. Not almost everyone. Most of the most difficult villains have something like this. So Magneto's helmet here, you cannot get rid of this. It gives Magneto confused and +1 scheme, which is really, really tough for that villain, right? The only way to get rid of it is hero response after hero makes a basic attack against Magneto, spend 1 of each resource type. So for Wonder Man, if he makes a basic attack, after he makes a basic attack, discard each tuck card. So now his flexibility is even worse because you have to play around discarding that tuck card. And yeah, that is a really good shout out, dude. Yeah, these cards stink for Wonder Man. These cards are really tough. And Iron Man, the Iron Man leader, has a bunch of this stuff as well. You have to make basic attacks. Yeah, this is tough. This is really annoying for Wonder Man. So really, really good point. You force Wonder Man to make basic attacks, and then like he has to like discard those sub cards. Really good shout out, Iron. So I think that's one of his worst cons for sure. That is definitely a big con. Maybe this is confusing if I say every. Let's say those villain attachments that require basic attacks. Yeah. Okay. Casey Porter says you play Hercules in aggression built and get him built out. He is a beast and can heal a lot in solo. You play Hercules in aggression built and get him built out. He is a beast and can heal a lot in solo. You play Hercules in aggression. I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, and then get built. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he can heal a lot because I think one of the best healing cards for him is Spoiling for a Fight. You play Spoiling for a Fight, you ready up. You get hopefully a weak minion. The problem is you have to get a weak minion, but you get a weak minion and then you overkill it. He just heals all of that. So that's really nice. So, okay, are you saying a pro for Hercules? Yeah. I'll say he's sustainable with healing in hero form with his, I think it's called Prince of Powers. Prince of Powers. I don't know. Let's find that card real quick. Prince of Power. Where is that card, guys? Here it is. Prince of Power. 1 card after Hercules attacks and defeats an enemy. Exhausted, heal 1 damage for each excess damage. And with the full 3 gifts, the Golden Mace gives you +3 attack. So with just the Golden Mace and his base 3 attack, he's already going to have 6 attack. You buff it even more. He's overkilling like a minion by a bunch, and he can heal a lot. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's a really fun flow with Hercules to get that healing there. So I definitely agree. He has very good sustainability when he's built out in hero form. Yeah, good shout out. Batman says, you can't play as usual, aka the classic build out gray cards are irrelevant. Mention Nick Fury Ironheart, all poor ideas with him. You have 0 gifts for like 2 turns, or you get a hand of 7/5 is not a strong point in my opinion. I don't know if I agree with that. I just posted a playthrough today because I just played the game, but I did a Hercules game, aggression versus Hela, and I think I will play this way in multiplayer as well, where you have more breathing room. But I say the first time, I think I played either Mansion or something like some sort of gray build out card on turn 1 and stayed down in Alter Ego. So not really doing much that turn, but getting my board out a little bit here without getting a labor out. I think that's definitely a valid way to play him. And I've also even thought about playing him, but I didn't actually play him that way because I feel like it's not really leaning into his kit as much. But like, and he actually can lean into his kit and be successful. But just playing the entire game, like building out your board as normal, right? Struggling with his like poor hands as in hero form and all that. But like you can play a justice game and just use the aspect cards and try to get like mansion, queen carry, heli carry, just get built out. And then once all that is set up, then you start to get labors. And I think that's actually a possible way to play him. I don't think it would be very fun, but I think it's possible to play him that way. Now Stepney, welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen you here before in a live stream, so welcome to the live stream. Discard and tuck cards is not that big a deal, maybe. Discard and tuck cards is not that big a deal, maybe. Do you mean for this card that we're talking about here, the for villain attachments? I think that one and all, like it's not like there's times where I'm like, okay, I want to get rid of these tuck cards, so I just attack with Wonder Man and get rid of all of them. So I agree with you. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, but I think that there are times when you want it and there's times when you don't. And I think when and where you want it, having the flexibility to choose is the most important part, in my opinion. So, like sometimes when I'm playing a Starstruck, I want to keep all the tuck cards because I want to kill that minion with the Starstruck. And so I want my attack to be high for that, or for like a unified strike, right? But then if I'm forced to get this card all of it first because I have to like attack Magneto to get rid of his helm or something like that, that could be annoying. So my son says a lot of the Wonder Man downsides don't apply if you don't hoard cards tucked under Ionic Physiology and just commit to spend them on attacks. Yeah, if you're constantly recycling them, I can definitely see a lot of these cards here being less restrictive. Um, but the thing is, so if you're doing it that way, I would say you are not really using his Thor stat, right? Because he Thors for 2. So I think that if you're constantly recycling that, you're also not really Thoring for 2 with him. I don't know. I feel like Thoring for 2 is just pretty good with the basic activation too. So yeah, I think that that's a good point. If you're constantly discarding your tuck cards and you're constantly recycling, these aren't that big of a con. Yeah. Avenger Symbol says, I love Wonder Man's signature sunglasses when flipping up to hero form, so he can get back active altruism tuck under him and keep playing it. Yeah, I actually like that too. I like it a lot with Starstruck. I think Starstruck is insane with that because if you keep on recurring, you keep on stunning the villain, and you have like the best stun lock possible, like possibly better than like Captain America stun lock, right? Because you're just recurring the same event over and over, and you already have 3 copies of Starstruck in the deck. So like, yeah, I do enjoy doing that. Batman SMK, I don't want to sound confrontational, but try to rush instead of building out in the beginning with Herc. I mean, no, I mean, feel free to share your thoughts. Yeah, I think that that's one of the fun things about Herc. You don't have to build out. You can definitely rush. For me, my philosophy with Herc, and I put this in my deck list like notes as well, but it depends on my hand. If my hand is like good cards to clear labors, like limited staminas, then I will definitely summon the labor and just like clear labor. But if my hand has no tempo events, right, like limited stamina, and I have like double resources and I have like mansion, then I'll just take my time for that first turn. So like for me, the first turn is dependent on what cards I get, right? Like if I get like resource cards, I want to do that. If I get like cheap events, then I want to play it like that way, right? So it's just kind of like flexible based on what I get that first hand is what I'll probably do on the turn 1. Because they're both building out, right? Clearing a labor is building out, and so is playing like a queen carrier. So yeah, I think they're both good ways to go with Herc. But yeah, I definitely don't think that slowly building out Injustice and playing the mansion, queen carrier, heli carrier before clearing labors is a good way to play him. I think that's probably the worst way to play him. But I'm saying I think that's a possible option for him. So he doesn't necessarily need to play in that like clear labor way. Was my point. Avenger Symbol says Hurt can also heal with moment of triumph and aggression. True, yeah. If he wants a long prince power, yeah, good point. FIFO Chicken, welcome to the chat. Wonder Man is super rich. He is very rich. Yeah, those the energy siphon, I think card, that resource card is really good with him. The fact that he can put a resource card with sunglasses, yeah, and recur the next turn guarantees at least a quadra resource every 2 turns. Yes, good point. Yeah, I'll put that in his pro here. Very rich. Let's put that in 2 different categories. So say very rich with energy siphon, and then can recur events or resource cards. Yeah. with his sunglasses. Avengers Symbol says, "Oh, true. He can tuck those resources with it." Yeah. Good point for FIFO here. Witcher Detective says, "Herc is one of the better characters for readying, given how the mace works." Yeah. You know, it's great. I've never done his effect yet, but let's hop over to Hercules here. Hercules has what is the card they can do? The ready card. Where is it? Son of Zeus. So this thing's a little bit annoying to me actually. Ready Hercules. If you control use one gift, you can ready an identity specific upgrade you control. I don't think that's good. I think the best cards for this is going to be Herc's Helm. But what I want to use it for is with what you're talking about with his mace. I want to ready up the mace with that, or even the Prince of Power actually. But like, I just don't find an opportunity to do that. But like to read the mace again, to be able to exhaust it again, for more overkill and more attack, I think that can be a lot of fun. So I kind of wish that switched because of these three effects. I feel like the tough is probably the most valuable, and then the draw, and then this thing is probably like the cherry on top, which you're really only doing if you're built out. So I kind of wish that this Reddit and identity specific upgrade control was like at the very end here because you get more benefit once you're built out from that. I think so. Let's see. Iron Stark says Wonder Man would be great with a confuse in his kit. For sure. Yeah. You want that access to alter ego to get the most valuable events and Wonder fans. Yeah. I think that's probably why they put Battlefield Benevolence in his precon. And I agree that flipping down alter ego is really good with him. That's why my aggression deck I have to have those confuses with Professor X, Psylocke, with Gambit to help you flip down. But yeah, I agree with that. Game Guy says, I want to try Herc in protection with more ready cards. Yeah, I definitely want to try that build for Hercules as well. Casey Porter says, sorry, what I meant was imagine having two gifts and you do spoiling for fight. Okay, you ready him, then play Savage Strike to make his attack 9, plus the two gifts, you use the Golden Mist to be 11 attack. Yeah, that's definitely a huge benefit and buff here for Hercules, for sure. I think that's definitely a good point. Herc is also so weird. Oh, sorry, is also weird in that he can defend twice every round with the helmet. Twice every round. Yeah, he can. I mean, obviously, you build it in protection, he can defend even more, right? By getting readies during build phase. But I think the helm is so cool. The helm is a really cool card. Let's talk about that. Let's put that as a pro for him. Herc's helm is like is protection players' dream. Like I think Herc's helm. This is definitely one of the highlights of his kit. Would you guys say this is the biggest highlight? I'm gonna it's the biggest for me right now, so I'm gonna bold that one. But Herc's helm is, I mean, I know the art is kind of like a meme here, but zero cost upgrade. This is like one of the only cards for Hercules that without any gifts, it's still a top tier card. Herc's helm, here interrupt defense. When the villain attacks, exhaust Herc's helm, reduce the amount of damage its attack used by 1. So this is already good on turn 1 when the villain's attacking you. You can just exhaust this card. You don't have to exhaust yourself, and you can reduce the damage by 1. This is even better because it's a defense word here, which means that you are initiating defending. So to protect humanity for your obligation here, if you just use this effect, you don't have to exhaust Hercules to defend. You just use a helm and it counts you defend to protect your ally, and you can remove a labor count from here. So I really like the Herc's helm. You can also use this and exhaust to get additional damage reduction, which I did a lot, I think, in my claw game. So yeah, this card's really fun with Herc. Batman says, a question for you all. What Herc are the two first heroes of Frank Brooks and new designer? Do you feel a change in philosophy? Ooh, that's a really interesting question. For me personally, and guys, let me know in the chat what you guys think too. But I I think Frank has very cool designs actually. I think that they're a fresh take on Marvel Champions. And even though I'm saying, I may not be the biggest fan of Wonder Man right now. And these are still our first impressions, right? So like, we're not like locked into what we're saying here for Herc and Wonder Man. But I would say, hop back over here. I think that these two heroes both do a lot of things to change how the game is being played. I don't know if that makes sense. Like their designs here are, let's use Herc as an example because I think he's easier to talk about in this way. He is very event oriented, and he can still work with allies, but through buffing him. He does not want the allies most of the time. He wants his events to do the effect. So I think he's one of the few heroes, like if not the only one, where allies are just strictly worse for. Like I know a lot of people say like Drax and stuff, but I think even with Drax, you still want allies with Drax. Drax just can't play the allies. He like because he doesn't have the economy. But I think you still want the allies with Drax. They still help him out a lot. For Hercules, the events help him out more. So I think that that's a really cool design. And for Wonder Man, not to the same extent as Hercules, but this thing right here, the flow of recycling energy events is also very event oriented. And I think if we can buff up the game and have events be more beneficial and give us more of a positive, thing than allies, that would be very interesting and fun for the game of our champions. If we can start that change of like, and I'm someone that loves allies and hates events. So like, it's weird coming from me, but like this could make me like events more. The reason why I like allies more is just because they're so much more versatile. But these two heroes definitely changed that landscape of giving events a much more big appeal than allies for sure. Let's see. Avenger Symbol says Herc's helm is definitely the highlight. Yeah, the artwork really elevates, to be honest. Cool. I'm glad you like that. I'm glad you like the artwork. I know a lot of people hate that artwork, but I don't mind it. It's kind of funny though. Meister Knight says, setting aside the associated meme for Herc's helm, I think he just has a fun, goofy smile. Yeah. Uh, Next step, not related question. Do you mix red and blue modules from Civil War or not? And do you mix any leader Civil War with any color or stick to recommended side? Do you mix any leader from Civil War? I have not mixed them. I just play with like the official rules, I guess, of keeping all Civil War stuff Civil War. The resistance side, and the registration side, the registration side. But yeah, I mean, honestly, you can mix it. It's not going to make that much of a difference. I think I just like the colors like matching there. But also you can add in. I feel like it's more fun to add in modules outside of Civil War than just mixing those because yeah, I don't know. I feel like those modules are pretty similar either way, right? Like the resistance modules has like an equivalent for the resistance side, and then like the main skins are also kind of similar as well, right? It's like a little bit different effect for like each side, but like they can kind of match anyways. I think it's more fun to add other stuff in it than you just switch them. Uh, Iron Stark says, does Herc's helm work to defend for Cho without exhausting? Yes, yeah, it does. I think Herc is amazing. Wonder Man is interesting, is what Avengers Symbol says. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about So Herc's helm here, for anyone who hasn't played Hercules, is that because it has that defense word here, if Protect Humanity is triggering here, right? Force interrupt. When a villain would attack Hercules, you choose your ally. Let's say you choose, Amadeus Cho right here, right? So now when you choose that ally, the villain attacks the ally instead. So now, force interrupt, the villain is attacking Amadeus Cho right here. If you use the helm here, it has a defense word here, which makes Herc the defender. So if you exhaust the helm, the attack now gets redirected back to Hercules. It's the same thing as if he exhausted here to defend with his defense stat of 2. Exact same thing, because anything with the defense keyword draws attacks towards you. So another ruling to be cognizant about is that if you are using Herc's helm to reduce the damage of a villain attack by 1, you cannot have the ally defend afterwards. So you cannot exhaust the helm, redirect the villain attack to you, and then like exhaust Amadeus Cho, for example, and redirect the attack to Amadeus Cho. Once an ally has exhausted to defend, you can no longer change anything else. And once Herc or the hero has declared defense, and Herc's helm declares defense with the defense word right here, you can no longer change the target. So that's what you guys have probably seen playthroughs of me, like, if I have like an ally like Amadeus Cho, and the boost and he exhausts to defend. Then the villain's boost card defeats Amadeus Cho. Herc has to take the full front of the attack, and he can no longer use the helm or exhaust to defend because the ally are exhausted to declare defending. Yeah. Once defending is declared by an identity, you cannot have any other character defend. You can, though, exhaust Herc's helm and then still exhaust Hercules to defend and add 2 more defense to that because it's the same identity, so they can stack defense stuff. But yeah, that's how defending works there with the helm and just in Marvel champs in general. Stutter Yuji says, I just imagine I start with Herc, pull up a labor, and I have to pull out a full Hydra with 12 hit points with no setup or damage. Pull up a labor. Yeah, yeah, that's really tough. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's the Hydra one. I think this is the most difficult labor for Hercules. Um, if you have the right card in hand, this might be the easiest one to clear, particularly for aggression. But I think the other aspects struggle with this one the most. And really, aggression is the main one to deal with this. Limitless stamina needs to be in every Hercules deck because yeah, it like for any 14 hit point hero, limited stamina is the biggest card for Herc than all the other ones because he really needs that ready for a 3 attack side and 3 Thor because you can use his attack side to Thor with the assault on the side scheme. So he definitely needs it. Yeah. Kurt says thanks for the clarification. Yeah, no problem at all. But yeah, I definitely yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of our pros and cons here, guys. I don't know what you guys think about the Hercules. Like, what are y'all's overall impressions for these heroes? Hydra is probably the hardest to start with. Yeah, Protect Humanity is probably the most chill. So it's weird. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And Protect Humanity also summons Amadeus Cho from your deck for you too. So that's like super duper nice. Um, the only thing with Protect Humanity is that it takes multiple turns to clear. So if you're trying to ramp up, then that one could be different, right? So like that's what's so annoying, right? That's why I always go back to this point that Curtis said, cannot pick your labors. Because if I want to rush with Hercules, like rush out those labors, and I get Protect Humanity, well, now it's gonna take a few turns. And then if I want to slowly build out, but I get like the Hydra minion, then like I want to kill that as soon as possible. It's gonna be activated every single turn. So it's just like being able to pick it would be so massive for Hercules, but he can't do it, unfortunately. Christian, welcome to the chat. I haven't tried them myself, but when they were announced, Wonder Man looked like the most fun. Yeah, but now seeing how they're actually playing, Herc looks awesome. Can't wait for them to arrive in Sweden. This is my exact thoughts too. Um, Wonder Man looked more fun when they're announced, but Hercules looks awesome right now after actually playing them. Yeah, yeah. The Rat King, Screw, welcome to chat. I got to play some 4-player games last weekend where Herc and Wonder Man were used. I think Aggression Herc with Avenger Allies and Earthsmine's Heroes is going to be awesome. Yeah, yeah. I really want to try Earthsmine's Heroes with Hercules. Avengers Allies is good too. I think I want to just go full on leadership whenever I do that build though. But yeah, Earthsmine's Heroes is a fun card for Herc. I thought that would get reprinted for Herc, but it did not. So I was wrong with that prediction there. But that would be a fun reprint because it's in the Rise of Red Skull. So we're probably never going to see Earthsmine's Heroes for a long time now. That is not going to be in Herc. And Herc is the one that wants the most ready. So I'm not sure why he didn't get that card. Iron Stark says, I mentioned before Embodied Pathos got hit with Master Plan. Yeah. Rectum again. Yeah. Master Plan is just killing. Yeah, with the Embodied Pathos there. Batman SMK. When you will have figured out how to win with Hercules, you will see the random order of labors as something fun. Yeah, maybe. Maybe if I play Hercules more, I might see that as more fun. I don't know. I just feel like it's just less planning. I don't know. I don't know. I wish for the labors if you had like 12 labors or something like that, right? And then like you don't clear all of them in a game, then it's like truly randomized, right? But it's always going to be the same 3 labors every single game. So even like I feel like the randomization is not super randomized because it's going to be one of 3 and you usually clear all 3 at some point. So I think that's kind of my thoughts on that. I feel like they could have went more into the randomization if they wanted to. But obviously that's more printed cards, which is like less cards in like the backup pack or something like that, right? So but yeah, yeah. Any more thoughts on Hercules, guys? Let me see, or Wonder Man actually. So let's look at these heroes a little bit here. Do we want to talk a little bit? I feel like we don't have a lot of cons for Hercules. Is this really it? Like we don't have that many cons for him. Um, here. Yeah, he's a really good built out board. I'll say this. Another thing too is that I found this response to draw 4 cards a little bit lackluster because I usually find myself spending my entire hand to clear labor. And whenever I draw 4 cards, it's like all luck. If I could add the 4 cards to my beginning hand and then choose what I want to do, that's a lot more powerful. But this gets kind of like, yeah. I mean, this just adds into the effect of these being lackluster. So I do think that the gifts have lackluster benefits themselves. like the benefits to counting gifts is really massive, right? Don't get me wrong. So like being able to um get more out of this. When you count your gifts, reduce the cost to play, for each gift. So this becomes zero cost to play. I think that's really nice. This is powerful, very good. The Thor event, same thing. This is really good. But the actual gifts themselves are lackluster effects, right? Like all this together um, gives Hercules a total of +4 hit points, piercing, retire 1, and steady. And the thing is, he can get steady by playing that unshakable card. He can get retire 1 by playing like a protection card. He can't get piercing in any other way. So like that's like probably the best one. But then he gets +4 hit points. You can just play endurance for 1 cost. So it's like I'm doing all this stuff for these gifts, but I don't feel like these gifts are like worth it. Andrew Nelson says, "Agreed. They should have had more labors, at least one more." Yeah, yeah. Do you think that it would be fun to not be able to clear all labors in the game? Because my first playthrough with Hercules with this precon, we only cleared 2 labors, and like we almost had Claw there. Like, so I feel like it's almost fun to not clear all 3 because it's like I can't clear all 3. But yeah, Miguel, hello. Welcome to the chat, dude. Glad you could join the live stream. Batman says you get 4 cards, a ready, a free flip to alter ego, and a resource generator for your identity events. 1 HP and a bonus is better than 1 full turn. Yeah, I'll say this. Actually, you bring up a good point for me, because God, I actually want to put. Um, I think that the free flip. This is Herc's free flip for clearing a labor is clunky in my experience. I just say this, just in my experience. And what I'm talking about here is right here, atonement. After labor's activation, you can put the top card of the gift deck into play. Ready Hercules, okay, that's really good. You may flip to alter ego 4 limit once per phase. So this is really good to flip down to alter ego so you could get a new labor here. However, whenever I'm playing Hercules, I find myself triggering atonement and clearing the labor when I start to turn in alter ego. So for example, on my precon game, I cleared the labor on turn 1. So on turn 1, I start, you have to start every single game in alter ego. So I start off here. I summon a labor with the new labors of Hercules, flip up the hero form, and I clear the labor. I clear the labor, I get a ready, and then I may flip to alter ego form. If I choose to flip to alter ego form here, then now I must end the turn in alter ego because I already used my 1 flip per turn to flip up to hero form. And I think even in my Hela playthrough, where like her completely destroyed Hela, so like that was a really fun game as well. I think we did like how much damage did we do? I don't know, like 30, 40 damage in a final turn. So we did a lot of damage to Hela, and like it was a lot of fun getting built out and everything. But I don't think I ever used this effect to flip down to alter ego because I found myself not wanting to be an alter ego from this form here. Like it would be nice if it was like I don't know, like yeah, the most like you may flip to alter ego, but you can flip back up to hero form. I don't know. I don't really know the best way to word that, but basically, if you're starting off in alter ego, you have the best chance to clear a labor because you have the bigger hand size when you start off in alter ego, right? So you have more resources to put towards that labor. When you start off the turn in hero form, you have hand size of 4, and what this means is that you've already had the labor in play for a turn, right? Because if you're starting off the turn hero form, that means the labor was already summoned in alter ego. So that means you're not clearing labor in 1 turn anyways. So usually I want to clear labor in 1 turn. And yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of a similar thing that like it's just kind of clunky because I don't get that flip every single time. Um so yeah, I don't know, that's my thoughts. So that's kind of a con for me. Actually, it feels a little bit clunky with that free flip. I don't think I've actually ever used it. I don't know if I used it in my Hela game, but if I didn't, then I've never actually used it playing as Hercules. Let me see. Andrew says, I agree the gifts are underwhelming. Yeah. One of the gifts, Christian says, one of the gifts should have had +1 hands. I totally agree. Yeah. +1 hands would have been huge for him. I wish he had that. Miguel Francisco, one con of Hercules, I would say is the Nemesis set. That side scheme is awful. And the attachment is horrible if it goes to the villain. One con is Nemesis set. Side scheme is awful. Oh, yeah. The attachment is horrible. It goes to the villain. I haven't gone the attachments, I think. But I mean, the Nemesis is, why do they make four hand size heroes with a lot of hit points that already have bad thwarting have the worst Nemesis set, guys? One of the worst Nemesis sets. Good shout out. I saw your comment. You were Chico Rescue. I forgot to set my top chat thing. Sorry, dude. I have it set to top chat here. Should have set to live chat. I apologize, Chikorexia. I did that the last live stream. I forgot to do it this one. I gotta remember every single time to set it to live chat to see all messages instead of just the top chat. I'm sorry. So yeah, if you have no chat, feel free to comment that. But I see some of your chat here, so I will catch up with that. Sorry, Chikorexia. I remember that you are Miguel. Sorry that you had to log on to your other account again. Huge apologies. I'll remember next time to always do live chat instead of top chat. I don't know why it's set like that. I don't know why it's all default set to the top chat. But yeah, one of the worst Nemesis sets. Let's take a look at his Nemesis set here. So, guys, this side scheme. So Chikorexia is talking about the side scheme here. This thing is just annoying as heck, dude. Olympic Field. When reviewed, place one additional threat for each Olympus card in play with a hazard icon. This is the exact same as Thor's Family Feud. I mean, it's the the Olympic Feud instead of Family Feud. But like, so place one additional threat here for each Olympus card in play. Guys, do we know the Olympus cards on Hercules? Like Olympus, Olympus, Olympus. This is an event, so you're not gonna have that in play. But Olympus and Olympus, right? So like this stuff, oh man, and then like the other stuff that he has, the review cards. Olympus here, Olympus here, Olympus here. Dude, and we cannot thwart with Hercules. He's not a thwarter. So like getting this Nemesis side scheme is one of the worst things ever. This can get up to like 10th or something like that. The hazard too. Like at least Thor, he has acceleration. This is a hazard, guys. We get an extra encounter card. This can be game ending to get the Nemesis for Hercules. So good shout out there. Let me catch up with the chat here from Chico Rexia. I honestly think it's kind of fun, kind of overpowered. Since I've had him so much time, I played a full Rise of Red Skull campaign. Oh, nice. Play Black Widow, Baron Zemo, he just annihilated. Really? Okay, that's really interesting because Baron Zemo, I feel like, is pretty tough. Rise of Red Skull, that's a lot of thorn from Red Skull too. So that's interesting. I think you're talking about Hercules, right? Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I've heard good things about him. Andrew Nelson, or like strong feats of him. Okay, let me see. I read that chat already, actually. So let me scroll back down a little bit. Adam Holt says, should one of Herc's gifts or cards increase his hand size for each gift he has, similar to Iron Man? Ooh. Maybe. I think that would be nice. I don't know if that's too powerful because then like does he get a +3 hand size like with the 3 gifts? Because he already, I think that might make him too powerful. Like fully built. I mean, he's already super strong when he's built out. He needs something early game, right? What he really needs is an early game buff. So I'm gonna put another con for him here, guys. Needs more cards that are strong early game. His only good early game card is Herc's Helm because everything else scales with late game. And late game, he's already really strong, so he doesn't need that, right? So it's weird that he's kind of like stacked up with the late game cards. I wish he had more of that early game stuff. Jimbo says, Herc and Wonder Man coming in the middle day. Nice, dude. Looking forward to playing both. I like Wonder Man after watching the MCU show. Yeah, that was a really good show. But Herc is a build-up, and I love those kind of heroes. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to like Herc as much as I did, but so far, I still don't know yet. Because if I have an annoying game with him, then I may not like him so much. But so far, all my games with Herc have been really fun. Keith says, so I'm just catching up with Wonder Man. You have to be able to heal to tuck a card because the answer says you can't just have more than 3 cards tucked. Am I misreading that somehow? Catching up with Wonder Man, you have to be able to heal to tuck a card. I don't think that they're correlated, but so personally, I believe that, and I think the rulings in the game kind of stand with this, that you cannot tuck a card if you have the 3 tuck cards, and you cannot tuck a card if you have full hit points. So if you want to be able to heal, you have to keep your tuck cards not at full. Is my understanding of that, and we talked about that a little bit earlier in the live stream. Witcher Detective says you can go down to Alt Ego and bring out the next labor immediately. The Alt Ego ability can be activated multiple times a turn if the labor is completed. So that's true. The problem is you can't flip up multiple times per turn. So like, yeah, and then the thing is when you bring out the next labor, if you must end in Alt Ego because you're already flipped up, then now you can't tackle that labor, which may be a side scheme or a minion that's going to be activating against you in alter ego, which can be rough. So like if you have like a hazard icon or like an amplified villain with scheme for more, or like a minion that has like some scheme stats, something like that, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I feel like that's where it's clunky for me. I think that ideally, yes, you start off in hero form. Well, okay. So ideally, you start the game. This is not even ideal actually for me because I want to clear labor in one turn. But let's say ideally for what you're describing, you start off the turn. Let me share another tab here so to make this to visualize. So ideally, you start off in Artigo, you use your new labors of Hercules, so you get a labor in play. You flip it to hero form. You cannot defeat the labor that turn. Okay. So a whole turn goes by, the labor's in play. If it's a minion, it attacks you. If it's a side scheme, you get the negative effects of the side scheme. Okay. Then the next round, when you're in hero form, you finish off that labor. You get all the effects and you flip down to alter ego for free. You pull out a new labor, flip back up to hero form, and you work on that new labor. And then after you clear off that label, you can't trade this again because it's limited once per phase. So you can't flip down again here, right? So that's like the, I guess, quote unquote, ideal situation. But I prefer being in alter ego, right? Starting off the turn in alter ego, summoning a labor, flip up the hero form, and immediately clearing that labor on my flip, right? But when I do that, I do not want to flip back down to alter ego because now I have to end the turn in alter ego because I already used my one flip per turn. So like that's where it's clunky to me, right, guys? Because you, if you want to get the effect out of this, you must start the turn in hero form. If you start the turn in hero form, that means that you got a labor and did not clear right away. And I think that it's the best thing to clear labor, like immediately, right? So, uh, Jimbo says, does anyone have a fun combo with the new cameo card? Leadership is my favorite aspect. So this seems like a really fun card to use. Yeah, I mean, there's really fun. I mean, I can pull up some of my games with it. I played, I think, quite a few games with cameo actually. Let me see here. Uh, let's pull up. Let me see. Where is it? Spider-Man. Where's that Spider-Man game, guys? I could have sworn that it's over here somewhere. Oh, here. So, let's see. Oh man, I gotta. Sorry, give me a second. Let me. Yeah. I mean, you can play with Spider-Man, and I use Cameo Spider-Man with Braun, and and I did Thor with Moon Knight, and I did Spider-Man with Captain Marvel as well. So yeah, I think Spider-Man can definitely Voltron more, and then with Moon Knight summoning stuff for Thor, that could be a lot of fun, like summoning minions for him. Yeah. All right, let's. J Venom says, I think it's weird that you can't clear two labors in one turn. You cannot clear two labors in one turn. You can clear two labors in one turn. You just don't get the effect of this, right? Yeah. Yeah. You just can't add it. Yeah. So okay. So yeah. So basically you basically can't clear two labors in one turn, basically. Yeah. Yeah, you basically can't do it, I guess. If you have the guard draw and you are able to do it, you should be rewarded. Yeah, true. Yeah. So you can't burst your labors. You technically can, you just don't get any of the effects and like kind of mess up your entire game if you do clear two in one turn. Because the labor will get lost forever in the victory display. And then you don't get a gift for it. Let's see. Let's see. Avengers Assemble says, I suppose Olympus makes his low hand stats feel better. Yeah, true. But once again, that's another card here. Olympus is only good for late game, right? Without any gifts, it generates 0 resources. With 3 gifts, is 3. So like, why is everything so backloaded with Hercules? That's my big problem with him, right? Like everything, all his cards scale with more gifts, and when you have those gifts, you're already super good, right? It's you need one more like really strong early game card to really help him out early game to help him clear labors. Um, Avengers Summon says having a second player is really nice, so Herc can feel free to clear labor on his first turn. Yeah, totally agree with that. Adam Ho says, is it better to build up Herc before you take your first labor? I think it depends. I think that I was talking about this a little bit earlier too, but I think that for me personally, it's based on what my hand is. So if my hand is like a bunch of resource cards and like Quinn Carrier, Heli Carrier, that type of stuff, then I will build out first before I take my first labor. But if my first hand's like all events, like especially limitless stamina, which is like one of the best cards for Hercules, I'll probably risk just getting a labor and seeing what it is. And hopefully it's not protect humanity if I have limitless stamina, because that's not that useful for the protect humanity card, right? So it's kind of like it's very dependent on what the labor is, which you don't know, and it's also very dependent on your hand. I feel like that is just an inconsistent type of thing. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say that they think that Hercules is very consistent and strong, but I think that he's unreliable. I feel like he's unreliable, even no matter what you do with him, because you never know if that first labor is one that you can clear or if it's going to be one like the protect humanity. And even though you have all your attack events in hand or like thwart events or readies, you may not be able to clear it because you got the protect humanity labor, right? People says I made a green deck with Herc and someone noticed that Retaliate and Excelsior don't work with defeat the Hydra. Yeah, it's a shame that. Yeah, you know what? That's a huge shout out. Actually, that's another thing. So labors are restrictive. I just say the Hydra labor, but this counts for thwart labor as well. Hydra labor. Let me do this. Hydra labor is restrictive. Restrictive in only allowing attack damage. So I talk about this actually in my deck here. So let me actually pull that up. Give me 1 second here, guys, because I actually typed this out, so I feel it's gonna be easier for me to just read it from there. I mean, I can't pull anything up right now. Let's do. Okay, all right, here we go. So share this. Okay, so right here, let me see. So this is a deck list I just played here against Hela, and right here, the defeat the Hydra card right here, right? So it says attached minion gets +6 hit points and gains the elite trait. Attached minion cannot take damage except from Hercules' attacks. So no damage can damage except Hercules, right? So a lot of people are like, okay, that's fine. Like I just gotta have Hercules do the damage. It's not just that, it has to be Hercules' attacks. So it has to have the attack keyword, or else it does not count as attack damage. So even if you have a card like Yarm, or you play strength and diversity or retaliate damage, for example, like what people are saying, the Hydra minion will not take damage because it's not considered attack damage. So yeah, like that's so restrictive. And it's weird because Yarm, like if you guys don't know that card, Yarm, it's literally Hercules attack. Did I spell that wrong? Oh man, there might be like a little, okay, let me do Yarm Marble CB. Did I spell that wrong, guys? Okay, so let me share this. So this is it's literally a weapon on Hercules if you play on him, right? After a hero attacks an enemy, so let's say we attack the Hydra, we can spend a physical resource and do 2 damage to any enemy. So we can spend a physical and do more 2 more damage to the Hydra minion, right? But no, it will not take damage because this is not an attack. This is not classified as an attack. So Yarm cannot do damage to Hydra minion. Same retaliate, it's not considered attack damage. So like that's terrible, dude. Like, why isn't it like that? It should have said what I think that this should say, and maybe they'll errata it in the future. Attached minion can only take damage from Hercules, because then if Hercules is retaliating, and if he's the one doing damage, like with the strength diversity, then that'll be really cool, and make strength and diversity Hercules super duper fun and powerful. I was like trying to brew up a strength and diversity deck for Hercules, but then like because that doesn't do damage or remove threat from here, same thing with the embodied pathos, right? Threat cannot be removed from attached scheme except by Hercules' thwarts. Why must it be the thwarts? Why can't it just be Hercules removing threat, right? So if you have any event that can remove threat, well, it won't work unless it's actually a thwart event itself. So this is, yeah, I don't know, because I feel the theme is that Hercules must be the one doing it. But if Hercules retaliates on the Hydra, it's still him doing it. So he should be able to get the benefit off of that. But he doesn't. He has to actually be attacking with attack keyword type of like events, right? So that's very restrictive. Yeah, that's a huge con, I think, for Hercules, and it's building. So I really wish that I could build a strength diversity deck with Hercules here, but unfortunately that does not work. That did not pan out. Let's see. Yeah, FIFO says, I understand that supports can't do damage. That's fair. But upgrades, which are heroes extensions, can't do damage. Yeah, or remove threat. So that is just really annoying. Yeah, that's a big con. Avenger Symbol says the ultimate funny play is having a second player play Earth's Mightiest Heroes to ready Hercules and then have him activate Cell Phone from Julie to have him make another base activate. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. That would be so much fun to like control Hercules like a puppet or something. Yeah, that'd be fun. Miguel Chicorexia says, I don't think it's a good idea to spend too much time without clearing labor. The game really spirals out of control. Yeah, so I I think that there's two thoughts to that. I think that if you summon a labor, you want to clear right away, like as soon as possible. But I think that and either way, I still agree with you. So I think that the other side is to make the argument that you should build out your board slowly and not get the extra tempo from a labor. Because then if you can control the scenario and you can build out your board, then now you're really set up and you've controlled the villain, and then you can now summon labors and clear them off. I still don't think that's the best way to play him. So I agree with you. That's still like kind of like a very roundabout way to go for it. And I think that clearing labors is good in general because it's building out through that way as well. Because clearing labors is built out for Hercules. So um Andrew says, I am having trouble finding enemy mods that have a 6 health like minion. Do you have any suggestions outside of the Thunderbolts? I used what do we play? We played Claw with the Masters of Evil, and that actually, I actually used that minion. I think Whirlwind is probably the best one, and it was crazy because my channel members and patrons actually voted for me to play. Well, you guys voted for me to play Claw for my first game with Hercules, and it just so happened that I think Claw is a good scenario for him because the Masters of Evil I think is really good because you have a lot of those non-elite minions, and some of them are weaker. I think that Whirlwind is the weakest one. So Whirlwind, I think, is one of the best targets for that. I can pull that up too. So let me pull a Whirlwind here in Marvel CDB. Yeah, so I think Whirlwind right here is probably one of the best ones because he's non-elite, 6 hit points. You buff him up with the Hydra, make him 12 hit points, one scheme to attack. So pretty low stats. I think he's a good one in the Master of Evil. But wait a minute, when I'm looking at Whirlwind here, what about this one? Is this? Oh, these are elite. Oh man, okay. These would be so cool from the Trickster Takeover Trickster Magic module. I think they're all elite. Yeah, they're all elite here. Because if you summon this and you kill it, you get double effect. You get the labor, but you can also go to make them go into victory split and trigger the one defeat effect to get an ally. That would have been super cool, but unfortunately, we can't do that because they're elite. The labors only work for non-elite minions, unfortunately. That would be really fun. That would be so cool. I really wish that we could have done that. Chikorexia says, I wanted to see someone go against Ronin, Venom God, Magneto to really see if he's strong or not. Yeah, I've seen people have said that Hercules has taken out Ronin, Venom God, and Magneto in true solo. So we'll see with that. I definitely plan on doing that. One of those at least with Hercules. I'm not sure which one yet. I kind of want to see if I want to go with a different build yet and just play him a little bit more first. Usually I go straight into it, but I don't think I'm going to do that for Hercules. I want to kind of plan this out a little bit more before I attempt those with Hercules. But I do want to attempt those with Hercules in the two-handed game for sure. I really want to do Ronin actually. So we'll see what happens with the member pose. Avenger Someone says Phoenix might control the Hydra before Hercules can clear it, so he can never complete it just before that. That's so messed up. Yeah, that would be really troll for Hercules player. J Venom says I made a list on Marvel CDB of non-elite 6 hit point minions, and it's totally not that many. Yeah, best option in my opinion is Vampire from the new horror module. Vampire from the from are you talking about from Mojo Mania? I feel like that one's annoying, right? Isn't that minion really tough? Are you one? So 6 hit points. The piercing deals double damage. That could be really strong for Hercules. Actually, wait a minute. This might be a really good shout out because Hercules, but he needs that gift to get piercing. So without a gift, he doesn't have it. But Savage Strike with piercing will kill Vampire in one shot. Yeah, it would depend if you have Savage Strike in hand, I guess, and if you're playing aggression for that piercing. But because I feel okay, 2 scheme 2 attack, it's like it's like okay, but the 2 scheme is a little bit annoying if he's scheming for 2. After he attacks and damages, the character will heal all damage from him. So you have to kill him in 1 turn. But also, if no damage is healed, he gets a tough. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can definitely make a case for him, for sure. Engineer says Master of Mayhem. Cool, thanks. Yeah. I think that the Master Evo is a good mod set for Herc. Sarah usually says still don't have Trickster Takeover. Trickster Takeover here. I hope they reprint next month. Oh yeah, because I know that one sold out really, really quickly. Jack Bell, welcome to the chat. Sorry I'm late. How do we get on with the bingo? Ooh, okay, yeah. Let's do that right now to really quickly round out. But we did not do well for February. I think we did good on the. I think we did better on the yearly bingo. I think I messed up big time on the bingo here. But let's finish out the live stream here with the bingo. Bat Rounder, yo, what's up, Web-Warrior? I just got into the game 2 weeks ago. Awesome, dude. Welcome to Marvel Champions, dude. Hope you've been enjoying it. I've been watching so many of your videos since then, and they really helped me out. Thanks for your great content. Greetings from Germany. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate your comment a lot. I'm glad that my videos are helping you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment anywhere. I read out the comments. So, yeah, and then everyone in the community will help you out as well. So, yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the game, dude. Marvel Champions is the best game ever, so I'm glad you're liking it. Jimbo says, is the next product the Daredevil expansion or more heroes? It is the Daredevil expansion. That's going to be the next product. I think it's going to be in summer this year. That is the next product for Marvel Champions. Okay, let's finish out the live stream here, guys, with the bingo cards. Our pros and cons list here. I don't know. It is all right. I think that definitely more cons of Hercules, which makes sense. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go over here. Let's do this bingo card. So we did 2 bingo cards. We did one for end of year, and we did one for end of month because there's some hero patch released this month. This is the end of month one, which I think you know what? I blame you guys. I blame chat because chat did not suggest a lot of things. So a lot of these were my suggestions and my predictions. And when I was predicting, I got it all wrong. Okay, so let's go to the super drill quickly. This is a bingo card here. So it's me predicting what will happen in the month of February. Okay, so we have a prediction that Hercules' obligation is the one from the labor. This is wrong. He has 2 obligations: the labor and his regular obligation. Both packs will have Civil War modules. This is wrong. Strength and Numbers reprint in Hercules. This is wrong. Sky Cycle reprint, wrong. This one, we're so close. Queen Care will be reprinted in Wonder Man. It was reprinted in Hercules, so it's wrong. But we did get a Queen Care reprint in 2026, yeah, in this year. So like half right, but totally it's still considered wrong because it wasn't in Wonder Man. Avengers Assemble reprint in Wonder Man, wrong. Go All Out reprint Hercules, wrong. Teamwork reprint, we got this one. We did get a leadership teamwork reprint in Hercules, so we got this right. Call for Aid reprint in Hercules, wrong. Determination reprint in Hercules in Wonder Man, wrong. Earth's Mightiest Heroes reprint in Hercules, wrong. Innovation reprint in Hercules, wrong. This is wrong as well. This is wrong as well. This is wrong as well. This one is probably our best prediction. Limited Stamina being reprinted in Hercules, I think is huge. I would have put in the if we had like more space, I would actually put here, but with a new alternate art. So it would have been wrong actually because we got the exact same art, which I would not expect. I thought we'd get a new art for Limited Stamina, but we had the same art here for the reprint. But we did get this one right. Avengers Tower, wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Community will enjoy Wonder Man more. I actually feel like the community is enjoying Hercules more. But let's do a poll here, see what you guys think. But I think this is wrong as well. New article February 12th, wrong. We still haven't gotten a new article. I don't know when it's coming. Endurance reprint Wonder Man, wrong. This is wrong, and this is wrong as well. So basically, we got 1, 2 things right. Not great, guys. Not great. I think, yeah. So we don't have a line. We failed this bingo card, or I failed the bingo card. Yeah, we did not get it here. And then I'll do a poll for this to see if you guys have been enjoying Wonder Man more lately or Hercules more. And then let me hop over to so I'm gonna show you guys our 2026 bingo card. So this one right here, I think we're gonna get this one. I think we're gonna get this one a lot better because yeah, like these have really good shout outs here, right? So we have like a turn trade game support for Daredevil. That's gonna be good. I think we're like pretty locked with like the precons for different ones. We already got 2 of these right? Because we thought that in 2026 Teamwork will be reprinted, Limited Stamina will be reprinted. Those are the 2 that we got right already. So like so far with this one, we're like 100%, right? We're we're like pretty good right now. And I really think we're gonna get a Sorcerer Supreme reprint here for Iron, in Iron Fist's pack because he's Mystic. So yeah, this one I'm a lot more confident about. This one I think we'll get right, but yeah, this one, yeah, we didn't do good, guys. This is a meme. We messed this one up. um, let's see. IMJFD, welcome to the chat, dude. Do you think Herc is average in terms of strength compared to all heroes, or a little below average? I think that he's below average. That's my personal take. I've seen a lot of people say that he's even above average. I think that he is a little below average. I think that the build out is tough. So okay, actually, so far my initial impression, I think that he's very far below average. People have told me even in the chat here that they defeated Expert Ronin with Herc in true solo. I'll have to try it. I don't think he can, but if he can, then I'm totally wrong. So that's just my first impressions right now. J Venom says we only get new art of cards that only existed with mutant art, I believe. Really? Let me think. Obviously, I think the resource cards don't count. For new art for those. But have we really not got new art? Yeah, I think you're right then. Only mutants have gotten the new art. Oh, that's kind of lame. Oh, that's kind of lame. I kind of wish that we got more alternate arts. IMJFD says, damn, very far below average. So he's like another Falcon. I'll say this though. I don't know if it's a hot take. I think he's leaps and bounds more fun than Falcon. Let's go back to our pros and cons list. I think that he is way more fun than Falcon, because I think that whenever you're built out with Hercules, he's a huge boost, and he's a very fun built out board because he's all within events. So when you're fully built out, you're drawing events and playing super cheap events for free, and they're doing a lot of impact. And it's not like Iron Man's built out or like a lot of typical other heroes built out, like SPDR or like Ironheart, where you have on-demand upgrades. So like at the same time, because it's not on demand, it's gonna be less reliable, but it's fun to be built out through clearing labors and play events. So Jeff is saying, yeah, at least he's unique. Yeah, so he's very unique and it's very fun. But I think that he's a little bit weak because of that weaker early game. Yeah. Andrew Dozen says, we'd love to see you take on Herc Solo versus Heroic Ronin. What the heck, dude? You can request that for your next custom game request if you want to see me lose in like 10 minutes. But I would probably never attempt this unless someone requests that, because I think it's this boring game, guys. It's gonna Heroic Ronin. Come on. Oh my goodness. That's already like, that's insane. Yeah, I think I will easily lose to that. J Venom says, Bombs Away only existed with Angel. So, oh, true. Oh, no, it only existed with Angel. Got it. Yeah. So Bombs Away. No, wait a minute. No. Did Star-Lord not have Bombs Away? Let me look that up. I thought Star-Lord had Bombs Away. Or Nova or something, no? Nope, you are right. Yeah, Bombs Away came an Angel then. Okay, that's okay. I'm a little bit surprised about that one. Yeah, so reprint arts only have apparently from mutants, or else the art's gonna be the exact same. That's kind of lame. Avenger someone says, yeah, poor Falcon. Chico Rexy Miguel says he's way more fun than Falcon. Yeah, I totally agree. I found Falcon awful. Yeah, Falcon's like Hawkeye 2.0. Yeah. I like. I don't know if I like Hawkeye more actually than Falcon at this point. But yeah, I don't know. Falcon looked promising. He just, I don't know. It was just so lame playing him. I just did not have fun at all. Even winning with him was not fun. I think we won, right? That Magneto game. That was like an hour, 30 minutes. I don't know. I also don't like flipping the encounter deck like up and down, like top card. You know what I mean? Like with Magic too, with the player deck, you have to like constantly flip it too. So it's just a lot of flipping stuff too. But yeah, Avengers someone says her running, holy sheesh. Yeah, Jay Venom says he had die bump. Okay, gotcha. I'm JFD. I enjoy Falcon more than Hawkeye. Oh, let me do the poll here. Who have you been enjoying more? And this will probably be the last poll, and then we'll end this live stream here because I go soon, guys. Who have you been enjoying more? Let's say Wonder Man or Hercules. See what you guys think. my prediction is that you guys enjoy Hercules more. I feel like the community is going to enjoy Hercules more, but yeah, I don't know. That's surprising because I thought I would enjoy Wonder Man more, but I've been seeing people like Hercules more, and I've also like I'm agreeing with the community here and well, like the sentiments on like Reddit and stuff like that. That Hercules is more enjoyable. Sarah usually says, I bought Falcon Winter Soldier just for Thunderbolts encounter sets for Pacific V. Yeah, they have those. Yeah, it kind of seems that you have to buy them to get all the Thunderbolt modules, but obviously you don't need all of them. But those are really fun. I believe Falcon has the Fixer, right? That was a really fun one. Avengers Assemble says, is Falcon the most disappointing hero of the past 2 years? Do you? I don't know how far back I can go, but I would say like this year and last year, so far it's Falcon. Yeah. What's another disappointing hero actually? Why don't we look at a Hall of Heroes here? I want to see other. That's actually kind of interesting. I kind of want to see. So let's go back to full 2 years. So let's say that this wave here, Magic Bishop, Iceman, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Magneto. Yeah, I think Falcon for me personally. Nick and Maria, Shuri, Silk, Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah. And Tiger Hook are awesome. Then we got Wonder Man Hercules. Yeah, I mean, we're still on the initial impressions for these guys, but I would say for me personally, Falcon is probably the most disappointing of the last 2 years. Yeah. Roboto said, I'm pretty sure X-Men only got alternate art because of licensing. Oh, is that what it is? I do like the alternate art though, so I would love to see more alternate art. Christian says, I would love a remake of Hawkeye, maybe Kate with fixes. Yeah, right. Yeah. Not just fixes, but I want like a really weak Kate Bishop, but I want really, really powerful air events and aspect cards. So you could put that for a Hawkeye, making a very event-oriented arrow event hero, and that will buff up Hawkeye as well. I think that would be really cool. IMJD says, why is Wonder Man less more fun? Okay, why is he like losing the poll? Since he is kind of generic. Oh, okay, got you. You're kind of answering. Mesha very existing. I don't know. I feel like he's so unique though. I feel like Wonder Man. I personally feel like he's super unique because of the energy recycling and healing. Like he's just staying up in hero form, playing events and healing, and being able to have events from any aspect in your deck just has cool synergies, right? So yeah, I do not know why I personally also am leaning towards Hercules, but yeah, right now the poll is 67% Hercules, 33 Wonder Man right now. My son says, I like Falcon, makes you feel like you're playing villains against himself, so he can't accomplish anything. Yeah, I think that's the concept of him. I think ideally that's what would have happened. But whenever I actually play him, I found that the actual experience for me playing Falcon was that, how do I say this? He is trying to deal with 1 to 2 cards, like encounter cards per turn. Probably just 1 encounter card. And each villain phase, each round has a villain activation and the encounter card. And he doesn't have enough board presence to deal with both things. So when the villain is scaling, he's also scaling, but not as quickly as the villain. So it's kind of behind, but it's even worse because he knows what's coming. So like he sees what's coming and he can't stop it. That's my experience playing Falcon, at least against like more difficult expert scenarios. I think that against easy scenarios, I mean, I think it's fine. But I feel like against like Magneto, for example, like the villain Magneto, I feel like he can't deal with everything Magneto is pushing, especially when he gets multiple encounter cards with like the one review where you do an extra counter card, right? With Under Fire, with his mana counters, like it's just more and more encounter cards, and Falcon can't deal with everything, in my opinion, or in my experience playing him. Let's see here. I am Lord Stark. Why is Falcon disappointing in a nutshell? Why is he disappointing in a nutshell? Yeah, so I feel like that. I just feel like he knows what's coming, but he doesn't have the cards and the resources and the economy to actually deal with it. Yeah, so you just kind of get hit in the face with it. And it's often choosing the worst or the better of 2 like worst things, right? By manipulating the encounter deck, but then it's still not that great. Like that, the best scenario, I guess. IMJD says, Avengers, yes, it's Falcon. It's like he's still in prototype version, LOL. Yeah, he does a lot for 0 to 2 boost damage. Yeah. People says Falcon's one of my favorites, but to be fair, it's because of Red Wing. You can do so much things with him. Yeah, true. Red Wing. I don't even know if it's Red Wing. I would say it's Aerial Recon. No, is it no, no. What is that card? Not Aerial Recon. It's the Falcon's Flock. To me, that's a highlight for Falcon. If you had to give him one, because you have that resource generator that can spend multiple times in a turn, and I think that's what unleashes Red Wing. So without the Falcon's Flock, I feel like Red Wing's not as good either. But yeah, Falcon's Flock is definitely the thing with Falcon for me that I like the most. See, MJD says he's in prototype. He's too weak and clunky. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Avenger Symbol says, although maybe Falcon isn't the most disappointing of the past 2 years, I think Magneto might be. He's just so boring for some reason. I know a lot of people don't like the Magneto hero. J Venom says, make an upgrade like what War the Great Web that lets heroes named Hawkeye use any arrows. Use any arrows. I mean, can he already use? I don't quite understand what you mean. I feel like because there's not any other arrows other than Hawkeye, right? Like the ones in Hawkeye's identity specific kit. So you just add arrow aspect cards. You can. Oh, you mean like 4 aspect cards, like cross aspects? Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Christian says, I think Wonder Man should have focused on either the energy aspect or overpaying, not both. I can see that. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think he's very complex. Oh yeah, let me add that. I will mark on here. More complex than I thought. Yeah, I think that would definitely make him a little bit less. Like, I feel like he's kind of split kind of thin with like everything he wants to do. Like I'm focusing on all these different type of things. Yeah. Avengers or IMAJD says, I also don't like Magneto. Yeah, he feels bland. I know a lot of people don't like him. At least X-Men allies are fun. He is their pseudo leader. Yeah. Shigarexi Miguel. Yeah, I think the worst is the clunkiness. You can definitely see what FFG wanted to do with him, but for me, the combos never click. Yeah, it's always one thing or another happening. That's how I agree. I totally agree with that for Falcon. Web-Warrior at easier scenarios, it's low boost icons galore. So Falcon's disappointing. Oh, true. Yeah, with the lower boost, it can be a little bit tough for Falcon as well. Miguel says from his obligation, which is one of the first cards, it's almost game over to him. Oh, right. Those come with counters, right? Not probably using the encounter or being unlucky with it. There's always something blocks play style. Yeah, true. I am Lord Stark. I see I haven't got to try him. Yeah, Falcon. Yeah. I'm Jesse says, give me K Bishop, Wiccan, and other young Avengers. Yeah, I really want a Wiccan. Wiccan would have been so fun, guys. Dang. Like another mystic character. And he could have came with the Sorcerer Supreme reprint that we all want. Wiccan would be so fun. Hoping after Fantastic Four. Yeah, I don't know when we'll go back to Avengers, but maybe more quickly now because they're not doing trilogies anymore. So maybe every year we'll get like, maybe not every year because we're getting 1 box a year, it seems like, but like every other year we'll get like some more Avengers stuff. Avengers Symbol says, yeah, X-Men allies are fun. Funnily enough, the leadership X-Men allies, especially Cyclops, Kid Omega, and M, I think were a mistake from Magneto Hero Pack. What do you mean a mistake? Like they're too powerful? Because yeah, I mean, it's so weird. Like, okay, I think that Cyclops and M are fine. I think that, yeah, we can pull it up here as we talk about them. I think that Cyclops and M, let me see here, Magneto Hero Pack. So Cyclops is pretty unique. He's 3 costs. You know, he activates good, but then like he unleashes really powerful combos for like a turn. But other than that, he's not really, you know, he's just like kind of fun for like that big push. M is interesting too because no allies like her, where she's super expensive, but she's worth her cost if you can defeat that minion with less hit points than her. And she synergizes off with like Uncanny X-Men, right? Kid Omega is just weird to me because Kid Omega, 2 cost ally, 2 threat, 2 attack, and 2 hit points, and with a very positive effect. He just feels too powerful. Like, and like you can make the argument, right? I think there's times where Cyclops is stronger than Kid Omega, or M is strong or that M is stronger than Kid Omega. But Kid Omega's just floor is just so high. So like he feels kind of more bland than the other ones, and he's just like outright powerful for some reason. I feel he should have had like maybe 1 thought and 1 attack instead of like both 2 in each category. So that's what you mean by a mistake. Then I can definitely see that. I'm JD says, yeah, Wiccan is a future sorcerer supreme in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. Awesome. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a little bit late until we get him, so I do hope that we get the reprint in Iron Fist. I am Lord Stark says Daredevil and a long time ago Gambit were my 2 top ones. I didn't think it would take this long to get Daredevil. Yeah, I don't think anyone thought Daredevil would take this long. But yeah, he did. What is the poll here, guys? Let me pull back this over again. And then the poll, you guys said, who have you been enjoying more? 77% Hercules, guys. 23% Wonder Man. That is crazy. I did not expect this much of a landslide here. I kind of thought like 60% Hercules, 4% Wonder Man. But yeah, you guys, man, love Hercules more. And I agree. I'm definitely on the same page. I thought I would like Wonder Man more. I was wrong. I enjoy Hercules a lot more. So yeah, all right, guys, that is gonna be it for this live stream. Hope you guys all enjoy this live stream. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and helped me build this pros and cons list here. I think this is a fun one. Next week, if there's no Marvel Champions news, we will probably go back to our series of reviewing or determining what's the best deck for every single hero, and we'll be doing wave 2 with Ant-Man, the Rise of Red Skull, and Wasp, and all that stuff. So that's what the plan is. If things change, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I plan on doing that. If we get like an arc or something like that, we may do something different. If there's like new news like this. But yeah, this is just kind of like a one-off stream because I just played Wonder Man Hercules and I wanted to share my thoughts and I wanted to get y'all's opinions on these 2 new heroes as well. So yeah, let me catch up here real quick on chat. But yeah, that is it for this live stream, guys. People says when I see Kid Omega or Cyclops, I dream about an ally. When it comes into play, you can choose trigger an ally response of your choice. Oh, that would be crazy. Oh, like another one on the table. That would be really fun. Avengers Assemble says it feels like Cyclops is more powerful to me my X-Men. Oh yeah, true. And make the call to do so much damage and then jump on one turn. Yeah, true. Yeah. Andrew Nelson, thanks for the stream. Yeah, thank you for joining, dude, and thank you for your support. I'm Lord Stark. Thanks, Web-Warrior. Take care. I appreciate your hard work. Yeah, dude, thank you guys so much. I mean, this was a blast to do, guys. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, everyone for joining. Tons of fun hanging out with y'all. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy this live stream. I'll see you guys next week, same time, Monday morning for another live stream. And we'll be talking about more Marvel Champions. All right, guys. See you guys all in the next week. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week here. Bye, guys.